I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, Jon Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Ain't no hesitation, got me going crazy. Keep it moving, I'm tuned in to True North Racing, the podcast that you need if you got the need for speed. Jon Morrison interviewing guests in the industry. Hey, short track, stock car racing, gotta get it hype. Saturday night under the lights, hear the engine rooming by. Smell the gas and feel the vibe, going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Hey, True North Racing, let's go.
Welcome back to a new episode of the True North Racing Podcast. This is episode 85. I'm your host, Jon Morrison. Joining me this week, we are having our first ever sub co-host. Megan Mitchell, unfortunately, is unable to make it tonight, but we are being replaced by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Brandon Feeney. Brandon, welcome to the show, man, as a co-host.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be nice to ask some questions today instead of getting asked them. I don't have to be prepared. So I get to make somebody else sweat this time.
We have the guys from the Stickers N Scuffs Podcast joining us this week. K and Graydon Bunn. As most of you guys know, back in October, the boys asked me to come on their show. I happily did it, which, again, I don't know how y'all do it, because that was the first time I've ever been interviewed in my life, besides for a job. And I think I did well, but you know, it was that was definitely interesting, how being on the other end of the mic.
Yeah, you kind of have to be prepared for anything they're going to ask, and not knowing, like, there's no scripts or anything going on to this. So you have to be like, all of a sudden there's left field, there's right field. You have to be kind of ready to play down the center. And you know what? This isn't the first time I've been in part of getting you guys together to do in front of camera things. So it's actually almost natural that, you know, Megan's having a little bit of issues tonight, but we're hoping to have her back real soon. And
yeah, you know, I still put it out to her that she's more than welcome to come on if she's unfortunately have internet issues tonight, which is obviously terrible. It sucks when that happens. You know, we all get a part of it from time to time. But you're right though. Back at last year's Motorama.
Yeah, when I met both you and Cam, that's for the first time. I'm like, hey, look at my car. Stand in front of it. Film stuff.
You're exactly right. Like, that was hysterical. The fact that, you know, that was the first time I got to meet K and K. You know, I've seen him around. I've seen what they've been doing with the Stickers and Scuff stuff. And, you know, I was really happy to see him out there. Really happy to see that he was shooting film, talking with drivers, getting, you know, content. And it was really awesome to see, because sometimes it's harder to get content for the guys we're going to be talking to because we have such a short window. And I feel like with Motorama, we can actually expand a little more and be able to, like, dude, I don't remember, like, maybe we didn't talk for like a maximum of like 5 minutes. Both days I was at Motorama.
Well, that's because you went to Flamborough first, and I had to get down to Flamborough. And then there was even talk about me helping you film at Flamborough with the CVMs that were down there.
I know, yeah.
I still want to drive one of those cars. They look like so much fun.
They are amazing. Actually, what is kind of funny is, well, yesterday, I was at a gender reveal party for a good friend of mine, and they're having a girl. Happy to announce that they're having a girl.
Have they posted online? Can we actually say that they're...
Yes. We're good. I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to get in trouble. So Jacqueline and myself, we drove down to Cambridge afterwards because they have... First of all, we wanted to go see our wedding venue. Because it was realistically in 3 months from now when you know, in a year from now when our wedding actually is, we wanted to get a kind of an idea of what the building, how the sun hits the building and stuff like that. It's some really weird stuff in my opinion, but that's how I felt like looking at it, to see how the area was going to look during pictures, during the ceremony, stuff like that. And sure enough, within a walking distance from this venue is a antique store called Southworks.
Yeah, I seen that snap.
Yeah, you saw it.
I haven't seen any of the finds though.
I haven't
seen any finds on that one diecast that looked like a legend car.
Dude, I got 2 more in the bag over here. I'm 98% positive I sent them to you.
They might not have come through yet, because I have issues getting pictures sometimes.
So when we pause before we bring in K and Graydon Bunn here in just a few minutes, I am going to pull them out of the bag because one of them is technically for my birthday, so I'm not supposed to show it. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for it, which is okay.
Wait, it's your birthday, but you already know what it is, but you can't show it online.
I did that last time because do you remember seeing my 31 diecast I have of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s nationwide ride?
Yes.
Okay, that blue one?
Yes.
That ended up
you sent it to me when I showed you. Yeah.
That was also for my birthday last year. I picked it out.
Well, I showed you my sponsors diecast of the Kelly Earnhardt car too, right? They're hard to find.
Oh, don't even get me started. So one of the times Jacqueline's parents went down to Southworks, there was a Kelly Earnhardt late model diecast there.
The IROC?
No, it wasn't the IROC. It was the late model.
Yeah, but it was like an IROC body, like a Camaro IROC.
Kind of, yeah. This was 2021, so this is one of the times that shortly after, Jacqueline and I have been together for 3 years. This is one of the times that I knew that they like to go antiquing, and this is one of the first times they told me that they came home and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a Kelly Earnhardt car there, 38." I'm like, no.
Yeah, somebody has scooped that, and you'll never see it again.
I know,
and it was probably like $20.
I don't know how much it was, but yeah, I saw it. I'm like, oh, I even looked at it. Can we go tomorrow? Like,
can we go now? Like,
yeah,
I got gas in the car.
The problem was
a Dart back in those days.
It was a Dart, yeah. But yeah, they unfortunately it got sold the next time we were there. But I was lucky enough to pick up the Dale Earnhardt car. So I got a Jerry Nadeau 40s Ford Coupe with it's gold and it's got the Miami Dolphins colors. But I found the car it was supposed to represent for. So I'm assuming it had to do with someone Dan Marino being a sponsor, an owner of the team or something like that, because it was the Miami Dolphins colors.
Yeah, you only found that because it is Super Bowl Sunday when we're recording this.
I know. Right? I feel like it had to do something. And so the funny part was I looked at it and I was like, Jack is like, well, it's $30. I'm like, I know. So I'm like, let's just look around. Let's see if there's anything else. I know where the die casts are. So I'm like, and they have the snappable stuff too. This like the build it yourself stuff. And I'm like, and they have the T-Rex car of Jeff Gordon. They have the 2001 car that Dale Earnhardt Jr. would have drove. They have these other ones, but I'm like, I don't want to build those. I just want the die cast. So I kind of get a little discouraged when I see them. I'm like, I don't want that. I want the die cast. So I get over to where the die casts are. And of course, it's up on the top shelf. I have to like literally, I can see. I'm like, ooh, Lumina. I'm like, oh, let me see what this is. Come down. First one was Davey Allison in the 23 Milwaukee Miller Lite car.
Oh, the 23 car.
Yeah,
that's old.
Hold up. Next one I pulled down, Oldsmobile. Number 25. Tim Richmond.
Yeah, that would have been Hollywood Tim Richmond. That's another hard one. You don't see a lot of Tim Richmond merchandise anywhere.
I'm well aware of that, and I'm so thankful I picked up those two. So I got those two die casts plus the Jerry Nadeau car, and paid no more than $150 for all three.
So I feel like we're gonna definitely have to see the Tim Richmond car. That's the one I want to see. We got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about it after we get K and Graydon Bunn in here, because I want to get those guys in. We want to talk to them. But before we do, I'm gonna show you that car once we pause the show here. I'm gonna grab the car, show you it, and then we're gonna bring in K and Graydon Bunn. So let's bring in those. We should bring the car in while they're here because they are both diecast collectors to see what their reaction is.
I'll set them down. Cars. I'll set them down over here on my right side, and I will show them to them when we get on the air. Throughout the show we'll bring it up on the screen and we'll show it to them.
Yeah, because if Cam all of a sudden his eyes perk up big and wide, you know you've got a good find because
I
Cam
know.
collects vintage diecast, nothing current. He collects vintage like early
Yeah.
2000s, like late 90s and before that. That's where his era is.
There's still some I got to get to him, and I'm gonna get it to him Motorama weekend for sure. I have a Pete Vanderwist truck and trailer with a 77 Loctite car on it. The coolest part about that, was the fact that inside of it there was a brand new Loctite t-shirt.
Inside, how big is the truck and trailer?
Dude, it's massive.
Oh, so it's like one of those old steel case transporters.
Yes. It's not even like the 140, like 143rd scale that you can get from like Walmart, or you used to get from Walmart.
Yeah.
I'm talking the thing is probably 2.5 feet long.
I think we just showed how Canadian we are when we just both agreed on the steel case transports that I think were only available here. They were solid steel. Well, not solid steel, but solid metal. You couldn't break them.
Oh, yeah.
By the way,
I said,
I do see the open spot where my car is going to go behind you.
You know what's awesome? I have 2 cars still coming. I got your car. We got to get together soon.
I was actually going to almost leave it with Taylor, but she goes, I haven't seen it much either. Michael.
I know. I feel bad. Like lately, like either I have the kids or my weekends just get tied up, and it's just one of those things. It's like, it's sometimes it's just hard to get out
busy.
places. Yeah.
It's busy. You got to, make sure family comes first. And like,
exactly.
We're not in race season. Unfortunately, race season for drivers and media guys like you, there's a little bit of sacrifice that has to be made. You got to miss time from loved ones and stuff like that. And so you got to make up for it now.
Exactly. So we're just waiting on the boys from the Stickers and Scuffs podcast to join us here in just a second. But when we do, actually, you know what? I don't know why I'm pausing trying to talk about that right now. Let's get into this week's episode with the Stickers and Scuffs boy of K and Graydon Bunn. Joining us this week on the True North Racing Podcast is the Stickers and Scuffs boys of K and Graydon Bunn. How are you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, doing great, boys.
That's awesome to hear. First of all, welcome to the show. This is I guess, yeah, it's still a crossover. Back in October, you guys asked if I would like to come on. I did. We had a lot of fun on that show, and now it's your turn on our show. Welcome to the show, boys.
Well, we're true, and we're North, and we're Canadian, so that works. We're racing fans, so we kind of do a combination of both of our podcasts together, and it's just magic, right?
Absolutely. I know I'm gonna have a lot of fun here because this is one of the things that I've been looking forward to for probably about, I want to say 8 months. I've been wanting to get you guys lined up, but I want to get you guys lined up near the beginning of the season of when we got back to our full routine here. Mm-hmm. And because first of all, we talked about a little bit on your show, how this is, we're starting to really combine and mesh really well, in the sense of really trying to promote drivers. You guys have not only done the podcast, have been talking about a lot of people with a lot of people. You guys have done 100 episodes. So first of all, congratulations on 100 episodes. I listened to the podcast while I was at the gym the other day. Fantastic work, guys. Loved listening to it. So first of all, congratulations on 100 episodes. I'm not far behind. This is 85.
You're not. Only went 15 after today, right?
15 after today, barring any issues or anything. We'll be hitting 100 episodes on June 6th is when it'll drop.
Nice.
So we're not too far behind.
Basically, racing season starts.
Yeah,
like full swing.
I know, right? It's going to be nuts. What I wanted to touch on was that you guys have also started doing your own driver stuff as well, which has been awesome to see. You guys are reaching out to a lot more drivers, East Coast, West Coast, South, wherever. First of all, I'm going to jump all the way back here. I know I just ranted for about like a good 2 minutes here, but that's what happens on the show.
Ranting, so
this is what happens on the show is I just get talking. I just realize I don't make a point at all. And I talk for about 2 minutes.
I do that too.
we have 4 people here that rant on forever.
This
be the
podcast could
longest
be 6
episode
hours.
ever.
You guys have at least 3 hours minimum right here.
You gotta work tomorrow, man.
I know.
Don't worry, you could take your laptop to work with you. We could still be talking.
Exactly.
True.
This is one of those ones
Absolutely
that should have been like a live show just for fun, just to see where it would have ended up.
Name the time, buddy.
Facebook jail.
Dude, we got you. I think that would be a lot of fun. Was just do a live episode.
Name the time, buddy. We're there.
I wonder if we could
Absolutely.
do like a TikTok live.
Where
you
you'd
guys
have
on
to
TikTok?
get TikTok.
I'm
Yeah,
on
that's like the
TikTok.
one thing we're not into is TikTok yet.
I loved using TikTok.
It's a good
I
time
see-
waster.
It
Yeah,
really
I could
is.
see that. Like, I could probably get lost in that for quite a while.
Especially once you get if you get on Racing Talk, you're
Yeah.
down to you're never coming up.
Yeah.
It was literally like, you should stop swiping for a while. You've been on this a long time.
I hate when they get that notification at like midnight or 2:00 in the morning, and it's just like, you should probably get off it. I was like, no, I want more racing videos. But anyways,
Swipe.
I don't need that
Not the
negativity
type of
in my
swiping I
life.
thought you guys would be doing, man.
Well, Jomo's getting married. I still do that kind of swipe.
Okay.
This took a turn quickly.
You know what?
I'm a
This
race car
typically
driver. I
happens.
always turn. It's always left.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't go right. So for the Stickers and Scuffs boys, we want to know, how did you guys meet? Where did your friendship start?
It's a great story. Why don't you tell it, Graydon?
I was gonna say, if you want. All right. So basically, I was a slow bloomer, I guess, to the whole social media thing. I was the Twitter guy forever, and it was just, I was good with that. But that's kind of where it all started, right, Cam? Like we always just talked about largely the Pinty series and NASCAR in general, and it just kind of evolved from there. Something came up. I guess it might have been through Mike at Race Canada, talking, like, spitballing the idea of a podcast around, because I do remember Cam replying to someone saying the only person that he would do a podcast with was me. And at that time, I was just like, man, I don't even, like, I can't check my email and that sort of thing. I'm not, I'm a complete buffoon in terms of tech stuff. And also, so eventually it did get to where it was a viable thing. And I was kind of busy at work and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, I don't know if I can commit to that. But at the same time, I've been taking my sons to mostly Pinty's races, but we do like some short track Saturday nights at Sunset and that sort of thing. Their very first race ever was a short track Saturday night at Barrie Speedway in 2014, the year that it shut down, which was, I did like a couple of my birthday parties I had at Barrie Speedway. So it was kind of cool. They got to experience their first ever live race at the same track I did. So it's just that kind of passion that Cam and I both shared that just started on Twitter. And then it kind of became apparent to me that maybe this podcast thing was my avenue to give back to the motorsports community, who has done so much for us over the years in terms, like, I can't go on enough about, like, it was mostly the Pinty series, as I say, because that's the series that we just kind of gravitated to initially. And man, like DJ Cannington and Scott Steckley, Ed Hackinson Racing, Jason Hathaway, that crowd in particular, they were always like above and beyond. Whenever we came to the races, they'd always make sure the boys had like new hats, and the kids have always had Steckley t-shirts and that sort of thing. So here we go. We decided to do this podcast thing, and that's kind of my angle on it. I don't know if Cam, you want to put some more color commentary to that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little different for me, because I had been a huge CASCAR fan, obviously NASCAR fan growing up. and was never growing up in Pickering, Ontario. It was not a place that racing was thought of to be cool. Not even close. So I was like the only kid that was really into NASCAR, only kid that was really wearing racing gear, and I had tried to cut racing out of my life for a good couple years because I honestly was tormented for liking it. It was a redneck thing, and in the city that wasn't a cool thing. That was weird and not, I mean, if you weren't into sports, you were a loser, right? So I kind of tried to cut it out and sold my NASCAR collection, tried to get rid of it, got into hockey for a lot of years, and other sports, just tried to focus on that, and then through some kind of issues with mental health, really, I went back into liking racing because it was the one thing that I always really loved from a kid all the way up to high school and into college. And so started back with that, and through that started on Twitter. And again, just like Graydon, I was really on learning kind of for the first little bit. So I started tweeting about the Penny series, and so did he. And he shared a lot of the same opinions as I did and same frustrations as I did. And but the one consistency was that the love for the series in Canada, not just the US racing. And so, yeah, I think Mike had thrown it out, Mike Sullivan, at racecanada.ca, and he had basically said that there needed to be more podcasts or something out there. I'm pretty sure, I think that's what it was. And
Yeah,
I said,
it was something
well,
like that.
yeah, I was like, well, I you know, I'd love to do one. I took radio broadcasting in high school, and I absolutely loved it. I just didn't have the confidence to pursue it. And so I was just said on a tweet back that, hey, if I was going to do a racing podcast, which I really want to do, I would do it with Graydon Bunn. And Graydon's like, replied back kind of like, oh yeah, that'd be great idea. And then not even a day later, Mike sent a message to direct message to me saying, I got this idea. I want to launch this site and racecanada.world and have podcasts on it. And I was first off blown away. I thought that was ridiculous. I was like, why would you want, we don't even know each other. We hadn't even called, we hadn't talked, we hadn't done nothing. And he had that faith. And I basically said, well, no one's going to really, no one's going to want to listen to us. Right. But Mike, to his credit, was like, no, it would be a great perspective, and there's not really this, and you guys could do it, and I'll help out. And he did. And I mean, it was, and we had that, I remember we had that first video chat, and it took us, do you remember, Gray? It was probably like an hour and a half before we actually got you connected. We had to get, Jess had to help, I think it was like Jess had to like help plug in the phone and try different thing. I don't even know how we did it, if it was through FaceTime or what.
I can't remember, but like, I cannot overstate how little I know of technology in general. Like, that adds to like our, like the Stickers and Scuffs dichotomy. I mean, like, we couldn't be more different in terms of walks of life and day-to-day type stuff. And that's the thing. Like, I can't even get on Zoom half the time. I mean, not now. I mean, that's part of what this thing has done for us too. I mean, it's opened doors for us in ways we never thought. And it's also made me learn things I never thought that I would be interested in learning, all because we just want to keep pumping this stuff out, not unlike yourself.
See, you know what? Right here is going to be hysterical, because I'm going to assume, because you guys started the podcast in October 2020, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So now this is the funny part, is because in June of 2020, I know I told you guys this on your show, is when I launched Joe Media Promotions. Now the whole basis of it was exactly where you guys were talking about on Twitter. Now I haven't used Twitter religiously in, I don't know, probably about 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years. So to me, it's hysterical how I'm on Facebook and Instagram and I'm seeing the content that's being put out for Canadian racing. And I'm like, man, like we need to do more. There needs to be more promoters. There need to be more this. There need to be more this. And like, Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey with Race Rivals Race Chat, they do an amazing job. I love watching them every Tuesday night. That's honestly like the one night a week I just look at my fiance. I'm like, at 8 o'clock, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna watch my G-Force with Adam and Clinton, and then right after, I gotta watch my main here, Cam, with his Power Hour. I gotta double it up so that way I can get 2 hours in and watch them all get done. It's incredible how you guys were having that same conversation on Twitter. That essentially I was talking with my buddy who was in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, it's awesome to see both of us start the shows around the same time and see how far we've come. And it's incredible that, first of all, that we can sit down and do this, that we can have a crossover episode. Because first of all, I love what y'all do.
Like, back at you, man.
Like, I'm over here every week. I can't wait to turn on my Stickers and Scuffs episode. There's times where I'll listen to it on my way to work or drive on my way home with it. Or there's times where I'll even sit down and be able to watch it at home as well. Because the content, the stuff that you guys put out, Cam, I love your videos, man, that you guys put out from Motorama. Graydon, I love seeing the stuff that you've been putting out from your adventures outing, because first of all, that's the stuff that we need. We need that stuff. We need these shop tours. And I swear that you and I, Cam, that we have the same brain sometimes. No. Hold on.
No.
Listen to me. Because you guys were literally posting about doing a shop tours down in the London area. Meanwhile, at the same time, I was already having conversations with Cam Thompson to go see him. So like, I'm looking at this like, what is like? It's hysterical that I didn't even see your post until like a few hours after I talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you guys are going down London way, and I mean, I'm going to Brantford to go see Cam. And I'm like, this is, to me, it's unbelievable, the fact that you guys are setting up exactly the same stuff that we're setting up at the same time. And I love seeing the content you guys are putting out.
Well, if I could, like, back at you, man, but at the same time, well, first of all, I guess I would say to fans who, and Feeney, you can speak to this too, from like the competition side, that like there was a hole in the motorsports landscape that's what our mission is turning out to be, to try to fill, to get to know the Brandon Feeneys of the world and the ladies of
delightful.
The ovals, and yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it just, I mean, TSN does what they can. G-Force, I mean, that's one of the greatest things to come on in recent memory, the service they provide race fans. But it's cool that we, as podcast too, the independent guys, still have all this content that we can grab up and spin on our own ways, to that our fan bases that we're slowly but surely building up are enjoying and can't seem to get enough of. And that's such a gratifying feeling.
It absolutely is. It's it's funny when you say that, because the biggest issue that we face is that our racing season is so short. It is the shortest anywhere, really, because
I mean,
we have that.
Would probably take the cake.
Well,
sorry.
I mean,
I think Alaska runs
sure.
more.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Because they have so much sunlight where they actually don't lose sun. They can run more days a week and stuff like that.
That's true. That is true.
But for us, like, who the hell wants to go out? Like in Alaska, it's cold. Right? Here,
is it during the summer? It's just probably like 10, 15 degrees
it's like a spring
all day.
day.
It's probably beautiful to race. and to race with the mountains on the outside of the track.
Yeah, I want to go so bad.
ACC was pretty bloody cold out, so
it's a hell of a backdrop, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cam, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's cool. I mean, it's okay. You can interrupt me anytime. This is your podcast. So, you know, if you want to do a plug in the middle when I'm speaking, it's all cool. And I totally, it's all good. The one problem is that you can't expect. The biggest thing we were talking about when we started was, and why we started with so many Pinty's guests, is because originally, Graydon and I mean, we started off with Mike, and we decided that we were going to go our own way, and we were going to do Xfinity. We're going to talk trucks, Xfinity, and the Pinty series. And we're not doing trucks. We're not doing any like trucks or Xfinity at all. And that was a great call, honestly. But we started with the Pinty series because you can't expect to get a ton of fans from an hour-long tape delay, and that's it. And then nothing during the off season. And that's not a fault of the team at NASCAR here. I mean, the people that are involved are absolutely amazing, but you're kind of stuck in whatever you can get at. And we all know that we've watched races that are an hour tape delay. You can't get the whole thing in an hour. And I mean, I love the broadcast. That's what we grew up on watching, right? But I mean, you don't get to hear a lot about who these drivers are. I mean, a lot of them I idolized and knew nothing about them. You know, Graydon, I think, again, different type of experience, because Graydon had been going to a lot of races. People knew who he was. I wasn't that like that. I was too nervous to go and talk to drivers. I mean, I remember being in Toronto in 2018, and DJ was talking to Sherry Putnam right in front of me, and I got a picture of them, but that's as close as I got, because I was petrified to actually say anything. Now people just want me to go away, right? Because I won't stop talking about it, right? So
you're still pretty shy. There's a few times I've had to give you a little shove off the
yes,
yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like the one thing I think that, again, podcasting really kind of has done is allowed personality to shine, allow you to open up, feel more comfortable. And the one thing that I can say that maybe I didn't feel comfortable in being a racing fan in Pickering, because I was ridiculed for it, the racing community has given so much appreciation to both of us for just being ourselves. And that is the most rewarding thing about doing this, is that we don't have to put on a front here. We're fans. That's what we are first and foremost. And for one person even to call or message or say hello or say thank you or just say us. I remember the first thing we said was when DJ, we did our first ever episode with DJ, and he said my name. And I was like, oh my God, DJ Kennington said my name. Right? Like that, you're going, I mean, people would be like, oh my God, Jeff Gordon said my name. Well, for us, it's DJ Kennington is the guy, right?
Oh yeah.
So I
honestly,
can't remember what you had asked, but that was my answer.
So I got a question for you guys, being big Pinty's guys. What does it mean for big Pinty's fans that LP Dumoulin's car is now on Victory Road in the NASCAR Hall of Fame?
Oh, it's about damn time.
Yeah.
We've been in NASCAR series since 2007. Why did it take this long? I mean, I understand it's not the cool thing. It's not the cool series. It's not Cup. But for a guy like, I mean, DJ is awesome. But when you get talking to LP, you want a guy that's enthusiastic about his motorsports program. I mean, Graydon, is there a guy that's more like energetic when you talk to him? He's such a, like, you wonder how he puts the helmet on and doesn't like just drive it into the wall because he's so excited.
Yeah, I think that whole Glory Road thing and seeing NASCAR Pinty Series, to Cam's point, I mean, it's about time, but I mean, it's the 75th anniversary of NASCAR, so I mean, it is a great time for this to happen, and yeah, to have the series represented by LP's car, a 3-time champ. He's an amazing success story of the series too. I mean, he started in renting the equipment from 22 Racing, and him and his brother and their team of people that are around them have built Dumoulin Competition into what it is today, a 3-time championship race winning team. And to see a Dodge in that display is pretty cool too. Mopar, baby.
Honestly, I completely agree with you guys. It is absolutely about damn time that NASCAR finally recognizes what we're doing up here. And to be fair,
and WeatherTech too. Sorry, John. Like WeatherTech's a
yes.
great partner to LP, and it's cool to see them get some
recognition,
screen time, if you will, or some time on the in the spotlight down there. Sorry,
absolutely.
Go ahead, John.
No, it's all good, man. Feel free to cut me off at any time. I'm sure my guys, the people who listen to this show, don't want me to talk anyways. So
John was surprised I had my own questions ready.
What was that, Brandon?
That you were surprised I had my own questions ready.
I know. I was kind of surprised. I'm like, oh, he came prepared.
I had 20 minutes and I did some homework. Okay,
nice.
But you guys,
it does help that. It does help.
Ahead.
I'm the only driver, I think, that's a Jomo driver and a Stickers and Scuffs driver.
That's
You're bridging gaps, man.
You've got some competition now, buddy. You've got Jomo guys and Stickers and Scuff guys like Cam Thompson, Chris Lawrence, Brandon Feeney. So we're bridging the gap there. So you got to kick some ass this year, Brandon.
We'll see. I still got a lot of work to do to my car to put it back together after autumn colors.
Yeah.
Well, keep up the tough work. Hey, if you ever need a hand and I don't have my kids, let me know. I'll come out and give you a hand.
Working in the trailer is not fun for one person, let alone two.
Especially when you're about as big as me. So that.
Well, I can't jack the car up in the trailer.
John, I know the feeling, John. It is about time somebody made a comment for us big guys.
Hey,
thank you,
Cam. I'm gonna talk about this real quick because it's probably about the perfect time to bring this up. Yesterday, I went to an antique store and I found some finds. Oh, Brandon's excited for this. He saw it. I got some finds. And I want you to take a look at.
Oh, this is not good.
They are NASCAR finds. They're NASCAR finds.
Yeah,
it's not like me finding things.
You know me with finds.
This had to go with the big guy category here because I got a new jacket a couple weeks ago, and the thing already makes me look like 3 times bigger than what I am because of how puffy it is. Okay, so I knew where the diecasts were in this shop. Because I've been there a couple times now. I was looking at the aisleway and I'm like, oh, I'm not fitting. And I had to take my jacket off to be able to sneak down there without tipping anything over. So the first thing I'm going to show you here was something I found. I want you to take a look at it. Let me know what you think.
Let's see if you can guess the driver.
Yeah, let's see if you can guess the driver too.
Okay.
This one's going to be a little bit harder.
That's Jerry Nadeau.
Oh. All right.
The gold collection too by Racing Champions. Very nice.
Jesus, yes, Cam, right off the top rope.
I know, right?
Another wrestling reference. I like this. Getting close to WrestleMania. We've got the Super Bowl happening today. Daytona 500
perfect
next
crossover.
Week.
This was number 180 of 4,998.
That's not bad.
No, guess how much I picked it up for?
Number to end.
Picked it up for $30.
Nice.
All right. Now,
this
what
is
This is gonna be a little bit. This is gonna be a little bit bigger one to show you.
Oh, sick.
A 23. I don't know.
Oh,
well, we stumped a Cam.
We stumped
23. Is that an Allison car?
Yes, it is.
Davey Allison drove a 23.
I had to look it up.
I know the 22 with Bobby, but I don't remember a 23.
I had to look up. I did find pictures.
What year is that? 80? 7?
87.
Nailed it.
When did he? I wonder when he drove that. Would it be Talladega?
He
I
drove
think it
that
was.
under his dad's name. It was like Bobby Allison Racing, I think, wasn't it?
Well, because Bobby had his own team, right? So,
And put Davey in the car.
huh?
Cool.
That's
That's
good
some good
find.
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
not even the best one yet. That's not even the best one yet.
Oh, it's not
Oh,
even
no?
the best one.
No, the next one is the one I think is probably the hardest one to find.
Oh, man!
Damn.
Oh, and it's
That
a
is-
Pontiac.
Oh,
It's
man.
not a Pontiac.
Yeah,
It's
it
his
is.
Grand Prix, is it not?
Yeah, it does.
I thought you said it was an Oldsmobile.
I know I was wrong when I read it.
You lied to me.
I did. I'm
Bastard.
sorry.
Wow.
That's
Wait.
cute.
Where the
Do
hell
they
is
know
the store?
Yeah.
John
Plug
can't
it.
tell you
Plug it
because
right
then you
now.
can-
I'm gonna plug it. It's called Southworks. It's in Cambridge.
Okay.
They had. I didn't pick it up. I should have. They also had a 143rd Ted
Okay.
Musgrave number 16.
Family Channel.
Sorry, Family
Is it the
Channel.
Family Channel car.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If you
They
see
had-
Cam all of a sudden leave, he's on his way to Cambridge right now.
Yeah.
He's gonna break
He's
in
gonna
that
be there-
store. So
he's
let
gonna be
me
there
tell you where
Monday
it is,
morning.
okay? Because I had picked it up, looked at it. I'm like, she's like, "Is it rare?" I'm like, "I don't know how rare it is." Right? I don't know. So I'm like, I don't know if I really want to get this. Like, I know Ted Musgrave. He was, good in his own mind.
Ouch.
Sorry, he was good in his own right.
2004 Craftsman Truck Series champion, though.
Yes.
So he is, or
No.
2005, I think. 2005, because
He does have a championship, so I'm not saying too much. But there was that car there. I found someone picked it up prior to me because and I wish he could have gotten it. It was a 38 Kelly Earnhardt late model.
Wow.
Someone picked it up before me. So the first time I ever found out about the store, it was actually my fiance's parents who went. They love antiquing. They love a different aspect of it than I do. I like the NASCAR stuff. They were like, "Oh, there was this here as well," and it was a 38 Kelly Earnhardt late model, mom and pop. I'm like,
That's what Graydon Bunn would want.
Yeah.
I've been looking for one.
My
I didn't even
sponsor
think
has
they would have
3.
made a Kelly Earnhart diecast. So
They do. My
Yeah, they
sponsor
do.
has 3 of them.
One of them was
Wow.
out by Brandon's way.
Yeah.
it's
I know it
it's
was.
amazing when you find, like, one of the things that I absolutely love about NASCAR is the diecast collecting, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
the one thing that you talked about already was the Ted Musgrave. A lot of the stuff, the late 90s stuff, there's so much of it because they did so much promotion for the 50th anniversary of NASCAR, right? So
Mhm.
like 98, 96, 97, 98, the stuff is, there's people are trying to get rid of it because there's so much of it. What I really like is when I started getting into motorsports and getting into NASCAR. So like that 2000 to 2009 range, those are like my go-to. So that's what all those
You're right there.
are. And then like I put a lot of my stuff away, right? Because I was supposedly supposed to start painting and like a year ago. And maybe a year from now, honestly, I have no idea.
You just got to get a Stickers N Scuffs wrap behind you, so it's a backdrop, and then you write.
I
it
mean,
on.
Yeah.
Fast Signs Ajax probably would wrap the entire condo. That would be great. But
Well, they just need to do that back wall as a backdrop, or like
Yeah.
right where your curtains are. And there you go.
dude, get the curtains done. That'd be actually really cool.
that'd be pretty cool.
That would
Yeah.
be kind of friggin' neat.
So, Fast Signs and Ajax, if you're listening,
Yeah.
KMK would like a
Cam,
wrap
you gotta
on each
send
one of
that to
those
them.
curtains.
Yeah, Fast Signs has been amazing. They did all of our no plugging here, right? But they did all of our amazing decals. So absolutely amazing. I love them. But yeah, the diecast stuff, man. There's that's how you do it, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
I feel like the problem with modern day racing is that they don't make diecast like they used to. Like they used to release diecast for everybody. Unsponsored drivers, they would release diecast for
And every paint scheme.
every single one.
Mhm.
Not
And
just
all
select
throughout
ones.
the year. now they do DNPs all the time. So as soon as they release it, if they don't get enough pre-orders, they cancel it. And I'm like, what's the point? Right? You also, mind you, also had like 5 or 6 different manufacturers of diecast back then, right? Now you kind of have
just down to
one.
one.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think the quality is nearly as nice as they used to be.
No
offense to those guys, but back in those days, we had cast card diecast because you had multiple people that you could go to. If we want to get a Pinty Series diecast, you need to sell over 500 pieces pre-ordered. And sure, that might be simple for, some people, but the reality is you have to actually physically buy 500 pieces before you can actually get them potentially made. Right? I mean, Graydon just got himself an amazing piece that I think Lionel produced Gary Elliott's car, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it did.
And that's not like, that is not an easy thing to do, right? You have to have a ton of money. And even for Kevin Lacroix years ago, he got one done by Lionel, a limited edition. They didn't even have a Dodge mold, so they had to put it on a Chevrolet. So you're not even getting what you actually need, right? Like back in the day, you could get an exact replica of a cast car late model to the T with the right contingencies, everything on it. Exactly.
I got one.
What it's supposed to.
I got one right there. I know you can't see it.
Don Thompson.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you never guessed who it was in the last diecast Jon product. You guys never figured it out.
That's 27. Is it Rusty?
Nope.
It's not Rusty in the old Milwaukee, right? And we drove the Kodiak 27.
Tim Richmond, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's Tim Richmond. Okay.
Graydon coming in a clutch.
Tim, he's older than I am, so
I frigging love Tim Richmond. That guy,
I didn't watch.
That guy
Tim
lived
Richmond.
high on the hog for, well, kind of literally.
Yeah.
He lived the high life there for a good little while.
Literally, the Miller High Life.
Guy had the world by the, short and curlies for a little bit there, and was one hell of a talent. That's a cool diecast.
Oh yeah,
in the box too. Good.
Yeah,
yeah. Mint.
That didn't bankrupt you, did it?
No.
No, not too bad. Which one?
$50 each.
That's it.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's not terrible at all. So
it's hard to find diecasts that people are selling at a reasonable cost as well.
Yeah.
Like you get some guys that are trying to sell, like they're trying to peddle it for like hundreds of bucks. Dude, I know.
There's a Cale Yarborough one in Mississauga, and I want it so bad, but I'm not willing to spend $200 on it.
No.
Well, yeah, you bought one of mine.
That's true.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of a cheapie when it comes to my diecast. I can't go more than like $60, honestly. It's just it's not worth it, right? I mean, I understand if you were getting like the top metal rubber tires, but it has to be something that's with the box as well. And there's people that'll literally put out. I mean, I remember sending some to Graydon actually, and the guy, I think it was like somebody wanted $125, and it wasn't even in a box, or it didn't have a box. I'm like, well, like
you got to have the boxes.
Yeah, and so the fact that you're getting stuff from the late 80s still in a box, that's so hard to find.
I know.
Right?
So I'm so thankful.
Is it sealed? Because that would be the ultimate.
It is open.
Oh, it is open. Okay.
Yeah, the old Milwaukee one's open. Yeah.
What the guy like? Open. Yeah, those are all like my boxes. The ones that are still in boxes, I've all been open just to like slide them out to look at them. Like they don't even have my fingerprints on them, but like,
see, I can't.
You got to take them out and just look at them.
I can't do that. Like I have some like really nice ones. Like I got 3 Kevin Harvick ones up over here. I got a Dale Jarrett. That was a Muppets one. The Muppets Dale Jarrett.
Mm-hmm.
I got that one. I have a Jason Leffler FedEx one.
Cool.
Did you say a piece?
I got a Jason Leffler FedEx one
from 2006 or
7, just before Denny took over.
Didn't even know they made one.
Yeah, picked one up for like $30 near my house. I got a big old 118th Dale Earnhardt Jr. nationwide car, and I have them all set up on this ledge right behind me.
Yeah, I need something like that.
Yeah, I joked with my fiance Jacqueline saying that I'm going to start building a lower unit because
It's
I'm
lower groove.
the lower groove. There it is. Because I got to add I got Brandon Feeney's coming. I still got to get his, and I got a Gary Elliott one coming as well.
Nice.
So on top of these three, they need to find a home, and I feel like they need to be prominent in my background.
Well, Feeney's definitely needs to be right where that on-air sign is.
Yeah. When I first get it, that's where it's going to go for a couple weeks.
Is the Lick and Molly hat still sitting there?
Is
it actually would.
Is the Lick and Molly hat still sitting right by the on air? Me and Cam apparently talk it all the time. What was it I gave you for like in your background here?
What did you give me? Oh, what
was it? A hat?
Yeah, I got a hat. I still got it. I rotate through them.
I know you have stickers on your toolbox at work.
Yeah, I do. And of course,
all right, Cam, your turn.
Your car would actually work perfectly with the North Wilkesboro sign.
It would.
I would love to run there. I love that track in the game.
Oh. Now this is a question I got for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about NASCAR returning back to North Wilkesboro?
I don't know. I never saw it race there in the first place.
Cam, neither did I. I've only watched old races from there.
I've only been told it was amazing, so I don't know.
The way I see... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So here's my concern with that. I know I'm not the guest or anything like that, but here's my concern with that is they're going to do this, and it's going to be huge the first year like the Clash, and they're going to try to stuff more into it the second year and over pollute it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really hope that's not the case because I love the facility. I love the track. I love, I loved it when they brought back that late model series last year and all the asphalt stuff last year. Put on some great racing. I'm excited to see it back. I'm gonna be honest. I never got to watch it. Cam, I'm in the same boat as you. I just literally looked up YouTube, North Wilkesboro Racing, and watched as much as I could to have an understanding of that place. Because one, I love the history of NASCAR. I love the history of racing in general. Hell, I go down to freaking Toronto and go stand where old Exhibition Stadium was just to feel like, this is where, some of the greatest race car drivers ever have raced. So like, I feel like it's a great thing to have back, that they're trying to get back to their roots.
Yeah. The way I see it is, think about us with the case of Cayuga Speedway. There's like my father, like our father's parent, like whatever you want to call it, spent a good bit of time hanging out there, and then it closed down, and then it got brought back for us to enjoy, albeit for a pretty short amount of time. But I can only imagine that would be something that the North Wilkesboro fans feel. I mean, that track sat there dormant, and people driving by it and visiting it and looking through the gates, just like I did that too. Like when Cayuga sat there dormant before Jacassa was even a thought, I just wanted to go see the place, and it was nowhere. I don't even remember where we were going. It was something, probably because we were closer to my in-laws or something. I just wanted to go and see the place in the flesh, and you couldn't even get to the track at the time. They had the gates like right in, right off the road. But like just like you're saying with the exhibition place, you just want to go there and just feel it and see it. And we were lucky at least to experience that polished and redone Canada's crown jewel for that little bit of time. But that's in my mind what the North Wilkesboro fans are feeling right now.
I completely agree with that because I haven't yet to been to Jacassa or Cayuga, obviously. But there's still days I'm thinking like, man, I wish, I want that track back so bad, because the fact
that it's still there can still give us hope that it might.
I know. Every day I have this little glimpse of hope that I'm gonna open up Facebook and Jacassa's back, and it's like, yes.
I'm
That's all
hoping
I'm
the
hoping
same thing
for.
with Gortha.
Yeah.
I love
Yes.
Gortha Speedway. It is one of the best places ever to race. There's so many grooves and but it's just right now they've taken catch fencing and everything down there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
I just want to run.
But I think the hope is that more will be saved, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
the biggest help with North Wilkesboro is that their government helped,
Yes.
and that's what's happening with Rockingham and what's happening with Charlotte is that they have a government that's willing to put some money into helping rebuild these tracks to their former glory because they see a potential in it. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury. I mean, racetracks, I know that they've tried to get help and support, and
they see the land is too valuable that the track's
too valuable.
Yeah.
It is, and you have to give something back. And racing again, we have to battle a short season, and the one I think maybe the downside for them is that they didn't have weekly racing. They had special events, and you might have needed weekly racing to be able to afford it or at least have the right investment made. It sucks because I think Kenny Hill had a vision and made it happen. He did. I mean, that we had the short track nationals there where you had big names coming up here and racing.
Oh yeah.
If you get Bubba Pollard to come up and race, you've done something right.
Yeah.
And I think that the biggest crime is that it sits there when we have perfect divisions that could race there.
Oh yeah.
Not only APC and the Pinty series, but I think if you could get, I'm not going to say trucks, but I personally think the Xfinity series would work perfectly at Jukasa. It's a short
Give me
track,
a double
yes.
weekend.
Yeah,
Give me a double weekend. Give me trucks. Give me Xfinity.
absolutely.
That is a beautiful track. Can you imagine those guys running?
Even getting like ARCA and stuff like that.
Well, ARCA was
Yeah.
the other one I thought of because ARCA back in the day went to Cayuga. Justin Allgaier won that race, and they had a decent car count show up for that. I mean, the biggest issue with a lot of the stuff is cost.
Yeah.
It's why we don't see Montreal happening for the Xfinity series anymore, is because they said they didn't have a presenting sponsor, and it's ridiculous in this day and age that costs are still as high as they are. Graydon, we talk about with drivers all the time about how expensive. You got one on the show right now who can tell you how expensive it is. And Brandon, you're not in the Pinty series, you're not in the APC, you're in Super Stocks, and it's still that stupid expensive. The more exposure that you can give, the better. And that's why what you talked about at the beginning of the show, I want to just, you guys have done an amazing job covering just as we have. I mean, having two shows that have done 100 episodes, you've got Racing It Out with Todd and Caitlin.
Oh yeah.
That's more recent, but they talk about a whole variety of topics. You obviously have the legendary Racetime Radio, which has been on for 17 years, right? You have Raceline with Eric Thomas, which is, I don't even know how long that's been on, but it's been forever. And then you have the Wide World of Motorsports with our good buddies James Jordan and Michael Wallace, who are also making weekly episodes. You've got countless. Now you've got the dirt side of things. You've got podcasts popping up there. Gary Clute podcast is another one that started. We're getting there. It's definitely happening. It's just, how long will it take to get those major corporations to see value, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so hard. I mean, Brandon, you've talked about it for countless times about how hard it is to get somebody even just to respond back to you.
Yeah. If you tell them you're looking for a partner or a marketing partnership or sponsors, stuff like that for racing, they just delete. And I think in the States, racing's a huge lifestyle. You can't live off racing in Canada. We don't have a feeder series to the Pinties. We have hardly any spots open for guys like me to even land a ride. So like, unless you have the funding, you're not getting a ride in Pinty's right now. But if we got racing to the point it was in the States where you have 40 car fields in the Pinty series, well, now guys are looking for drivers. Sponsors are going to want to be on there because it's going to be a must-watch thing. Just like look
Just
how much
like NASCAR used to be.
Yeah,
exactly. But like
when they had 50 cars show up.
Yeah,
but like the Xfinity series, look at the stats on that, because the Cup series is its own breed. Like everyone's going to watch it. It's got all the big names. But your Xfinities and your trucks are your feeder series and stuff like that. So if you get the Pinty series to now be our premier series, not like, so it's our Cup.
Yep.
So everyone's got to understand Pinty's isn't a feeder for those. This is our Cup. So if we take the Ontario Sportsman and turn that into like an Xfinity where it's like, all right, we're gonna get you some experience in with this field doing the 100-lap shows, and now you're gonna move up to like that, and like, you know what I mean? You could make a program where not so much people make money racing, but you now make it so people can follow their driver from Peterborough Speedway, Flamborough Speedway, Sunset Speedway, right to on TV. Where I think that's where people struggle to get the connection is a lot of these guys that race Pinties, there's not many that kids got to see race a short track because they basically started in Pinties because, well, they didn't start there, but like, you know what I mean? There's no true way to feed up. And like, it's not just like, all right, Dan McCaddy got a ride because he's, I don't know, 10-time late model champ at Peterborough, where it's, some people get rides that just because they have the funding and the sponsorship to do it. It's the same thing in Cup Series and stuff like that. But you just see some of the talented drivers that should have an opportunity don't even get looked at here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's partly why we all like why this exists right now, is just that's kind of we're taking that upon ourselves to try and help these drivers get their names out there and tell everyone who they are, and maybe, like you say, just a company or two will share that belief and get behind, because like I say, Lord knows there's plenty of talent out there. And as you like, Canada doesn't have the sheer numbers of racers, but I mean the amount of talent that's not getting discovered in Canada is still there too, just like in the States. And I mean, the organizations like Ladies of the Oval and and what we're doing, it's just anything that we can do to help just get more eyes on it, and maybe get a corporation to loosen the purse strings a little bit.
I completely agree.
Like, here's a name that you probably all, if I mention it, will be like, all right, this guy deserves a shot. But think about this. I think about a guy like Danny Bennett.
Yeah.
He's driven pro late models, Sunset champion. He's won in everything he's ever drove.
Yep.
When is this guy, who is basically can drive anything, going to get an opportunity without having to pay for it? The guy has more talent than almost anybody. And like, I'm not saying that to down talk anybody, but this kid is good. He's learned to adapt. He's won multiple big pressure races, won championships. He's worked his way up.
He's come back from adversity.
Where does that sometimes does it go from he's funding his own ride to somebody takes a leap of faith in him in our racing community?
I think the hardest thing, true. I think that, I mean, Graydon, when we talked about the Penny series, which is a lot, we talk about the beginning, and a lot of those team owners were the owners were the drivers.
Yep.
But what happened was they retired and left the sport completely. When you do that, you don't have team owners that are putting out rides for people to be able to even get into. And that's where the biggest issue, I think, lies, is that even if you look at it, even the Cup series is like that now. There's not really a single car team out there. It's all affiliations. It's all, this group of people working with this group of people, manufacturers working with manufacturers. Here, it's not going to be like that unless all of a sudden we get a major influx of new, manufacturers coming in, like Nissan and Toyota and which we don't foresee really. I mean, there's a lot that has to go into it. But at the end of the day, it is a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hobby for a lot of people. And, Feeney's done it. Graydon got a little taste of it last year, that the smallest things cost a fortune. And the pandemic was fantastic in a sense of allowing myself and Graydon, and I think you guys as well, we got to see a lot of Canadian content because a lot of people didn't leave. They stayed. And this past year was one of the most successful that the Pinty series has had. Car counts were the best that they had been since 2013. But we're also still going to see the outcome of 2-3 years of pandemic for probably years to come still, because businesses are going to start feeling and finding those issues with either pay or big thing is the inventory. And when we saw it last year with the part shortages, that's not going to go away immediately. It's going to take time. So costs will continue to rise. Inventory will dwindle until they're able to kind of even it back out. It's a very, very hard thing for race teams in Canada to even get what they put into it. What's the common phrase? You don't get into racing to make money, especially not here. You're not getting $1 million to win a race here. You should. I mean, you should. Back in the day, I'm pretty sure CASCAR purses were pretty high up there, and now you're not looking even close to that. And I don't put a lot of that on the tracks. I think a lot of people blame tracks. They blame owners. They blame a lot of things, but the reality is it's just expensive.
Yeah.
It's not what it was 23 years ago in the early 2000s. Joel Robinson, a good friend of ours from TSN, has said that the cost is 5 times what it was when it was CASCAR.
Yeah.
5 times. Like
it's crazy.
It would be awesome. It would be awesome if we could get back to 60 cars trying to qualify for Delaware.
Oh, could you imagine 65 cars trying to get into Delaware?
Oh my God, I would love it.
But you just said it right there with the budgets, or like the inherent cost that it takes to put a car on a track, even for one race. It's just not doable, and that's why you don't really see like the mom and pop operations and the I want to say it, just the Western crowd doesn't show up in droves like they used to. I mean, they have a great product going with RS1.
Yep.
I mean, so why would they? I mean, but it just shows it's not that climate anymore. It's not that type of world. The business in itself, like corporations are in bed with other corporations, so it's not like it's not just in racing. That's a global thing. So I mean, it just the trickle down effect, and as Cam speaks to with the parts availabilities and the supply and demand of it, just the sheer economics of it, just makes racing so expensive. And I just go back to that's where us fans know that like the business of racing isn't something that a casual fan always sees. They see cars on the track, they see flashy colors and numbers and stuff like that, but behind the scenes, the inherent costs, that stuff that we're thinking about in the stands when we see a car pile into the wall or somebody dump somebody and wreck their car and be like, that just cost that guy thousands of dollars that he does not have, and he's going to go and try and pound pavement, or she is going to go try and pound the pavement and call in every connection, every friend or anybody that'll donate parts and that sort of thing. And that's just something that we like to tell those stories for one, because it shows the camaraderie and that whole thing that we talk about where the competitors want to beat their competition on the track fair and square, as opposed to seeing them sitting out due to a part or a part failure or bent sheet metal, what have you. Those are all just reasons why we're here. And I think that it's cool. It's a good time to be a motorsports fan in Canada. It might not be the best time to be a business owner, but I mean, it's a good time for us to really help these guys and rally around them and help make these short little off seasons the best months of the year.
I mean, I can say for myself, before doing the podcast, I would not go to races if the car count wasn't, because I was like, I don't want to go for 16 cars. I mean, that's greedy. It's an awful way to think. But
you're a consumer that wants bang for their buck too, right?
Absolutely. But the one thing that we did, I think, and that, I mean, Jon, I think you're in the same boat, is you can either sit there and bitch and complain that it doesn't have enough cars, or you can try to help. And that's the one thing that a lot of people don't do. They just sit there and complain that, oh, NASCAR doesn't have this and they don't have that and they don't have this and they don't have. Well, you don't know how easy it actually is. It looks a lot easier. And then you get really close to these guys and gals in the series and the drivers and the team owners. And like Graydon said, we went from going nuts when we were watching races to being like, I don't want to see guys tear their shit up anymore, racing and acting like. That's why seeing the clash this past weekend was infuriating, because I go and say, you guys are just wasting millions of dollars worth of equipment, when I know that one of those cars, one of these drivers like a Brandon Feeney, could use half the budget that you're doing and really bump up his program, and you're just going to
half.
Ruin.
I'd probably use a 10th.
There you go, a 10th. I'm just saying, you could have opened Beefy Motorsports Pinty's team with the budget that they have, and they go and just destroy it. Yeah. Absolutely no care. And these guys driving like absolute morons, and we go and we see amazing racers that are humble. You got guys like Feeney, like Larry Jackson, who are literally working on their own equipment, busting their asses all the time, and they don't get any of that attention. It's hurtful. But I'll tell you that when you go and you see somebody succeed, seeing Garrett at Sunset win a quick race, after talking with him about all the issues that he had or something that was wrong with the car or whatever, and then having an SNS decal on, I'll tell you, Joe, I keep calling you Joe because of the Jomo. Jomo,
don't worry, it's all good.
You know this as well, but does it not feel different before? Like when you were a fan before getting involved, it didn't mean as much when somebody won a race. Now when you see it and you see how the guys that you've talked with, and you see the guys that and gals that you get to know, and you see that they had a good finish, or that they did better than they did the previous week. When Brandon won his feature last year, all you want to go and say is like, oh my God, I'm so happy, because I know how much that means.
I think those were my exact words to you, weren't they, Brandon?
Yeah, I think I got a message from you and Cam before I even got back to my trailer. Like, I wasn't even through Tech Lane yet. So like, I mean, it was great because like you guys can watch on like Race Monitor and stuff like that.
Which is like, what I was doing.
Which unfortunately Race Monitor was even acting up that night. So like it said Donovan was leading most of the race, but like I was just minding my own business for most of that. But like, imagine if we had the coverage like Flow Racing does down in the States. Like if we had, so we have so many short tracks. If we got one night per track a year, or like depending on how it works out, if we had a team that could actually do that and add it even into Flow Racing as a extra coverage for them, think about how much bigger that alone would make Canadian racing.
I think you look at what Rogers is doing at Delaware. I didn't know a single driver from Delaware Speedway 2 years ago. And now ask Graydon. I won't shut up about Delaware Speedway. I absolutely love. I look forward to it more than I remember saying this actually to you, Graydon. I was like, I don't even want to watch the truck series. I want to watch Delaware Speedway on Friday nights.
Yeah, it's great racing.
I mean, we watched, and that's the bonus too. We watched it when we were at GP3R. We watched the OSS race at Delaware.
That was a hell of a good Friday night.
It was a great race with Kev Trev getting 2 straight. But that's what you need. G-Force does it, and the best part about having those live streams is you can go back and watch it.
Yeah.
If you miss it. And I miss a lot of races, right? The other thing is you can prep for it. right? I don't have to listen to Fox Sports Racing tell me for the 1,000th time, are you faster than a redneck?
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done hearing
Dumbest stuff on wheels.
Oh my god.
Absolutely brutal.
So
And-
you guys want to know something real funny? Is I haven't tuned in to Fox Sports Racing since it speed stopped and everything like that. I tuned in one day and I'm literally watching, I'm like, this is the same crap I watched 10 years ago.
Yep.
Why hasn't it
changed.
changed?
I think
Why
Jimmy
have they
Shine. Yeah, Jimmy Shine's in a friggin' old age home now, probably, and he's still like doing Car Warrior. Like they don't
And he
even
still
have
looks like
that
he's
show
34.
on the channel. I don't.
But
think.
did you know that it's no longer 24 hours or no, it's no longer 48 hours. It's only
Yeah.
24.
They flip. Oh
Man.
my god! Like it's nauseating. Like
All right,
it's really cool to have all the options that we do have to take in our own racing, and that I think kind of partly helped how like our podcast evolved too. Like we kind of somewhat quickly into the Stickers and Scuffs thing was like, man, if we talk Pinty's racing, we're going to be out of coverage in about 20 weeks or so. I mean, like in terms of like doing the interview structure where you're like, we like bang out a weekly interview, but then the more we got to talking with Pinty's drivers and, like other industry professionals that we've had on the show, like you always end up having conversations either off the recording or during the show and say, oh, have you heard about this person? Have you heard about that person? They're going to be the next big thing. And then you start looking at other series and other tracks. And then now it's kind of a thing for our family where it's kind of cool to go to at least one new place that we've never been every year. And it's a pretty surprising amount of places in terms of racing venues in Ontario that we haven't been to. We got a whole, like, we just scratched the surface now by going to Oshweekend last year. Like now we've got the dirt world to kind of take in. Like it's kind of cool how that, like our podcast anyways has naturally evolved from, we're just talking NASCAR, we're talking Pinty's, we're talking trucks, Xfinity, but now, and it's the same old thing. It's just the people. We hear it from people, and then we start talking to all these people, like talking to Brandon when we go to Peterborough, and making friends with Kevin Trevlin and the Herniac Hall guys, and Rob and Oliver Strong, Ollie Strong Racing, and that's just like a handful of examples right there. But I mean, there's countless episodes of our show and your show that prove there's so many great stories to be told in the Ontario racing world alone, never mind Canada.
You're exactly right. Like the biggest thing is the one thing I noticed, especially when I first started all this stuff, and I feel like you guys said the same thing, is there's personalities in this sport that need to be shown. And I 100% believe that both of us have done that. We have gone to talk to some amazing people, and they have shown to us time and time again why this sport is freaking amazing, why we love this sport, why this is such, I hate the term that racing is a redneck sport.
Yeah, me too. Because
this sport cannot be more of a family, a family-oriented sport more than ever. Now, obviously, guaranteed, Brandon can attest to this one. I can attest to this one. Now, the pit sometimes, that may be a little bit of a different story, but everyone will come together at one point or another.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the thing about on the pits. So, like, even if somebody hates your guts, you've wrecked them 15 times out of 16 races. If you break something, they're still going to probably lend you the part as long as you give it back.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I race against guys. Still to this day, there's a borrowed transmission in my car, just like moving in and out of the trailer because I broke transmission like 3 weeks to go. Like, I was done for the season. I didn't have the money for new transmission. I was done. I got told I'm not allowed to pack it up, put their transmission in, which left them no backup parts. So like, and like there was times he'd have an issue. He goes, no, you got to be out there. He goes, I'll deal with my car. I'm like, but I have your backup parts. He goes, yeah, you're staying out there. We're good. So
it's the same. Graydon went through this last year when he got an opportunity to race, And I mean, the people, I mean, I was crushed first off because I mean I wasn't able to be there. We kind of needed to do. I was doing some OSS duties at Sunset that night, and he was racing at Peterborough for the Outlaw Midgets. And I remember messaging his wife, and I'm like, Jess, how's it going? And she's like, it's not good. I'm like, what? And my heart just like sank because I'm like, you were so excited. But then I remember calling Graydon at the end of the night, and I think we ended up talking the next day. And he's just all he talked about was, yeah, sure, he was disappointed, but was the friggin' people in the garage that he said he had the champ, Jessica James, he had Rob Hooligan, Rob McCall. I think Feeney, you came as well. I mean, he said he got people coming from all over just to try and help him get out there. Like, you don't have to do that. They don't know who he is. Like, he's just another competitor. But it didn't matter. They all come together. They all, and that those friendships that he made that day are still going strong today. And they're I mean, some of those people I've gotten the luxury to meet, and they're freaking amazing. Like, it's so cool that they are like, you go and you talk to some of these people and they are like family. Having a phone call with Kevin Trevelyan on a Sunday night. I mean, before I came on here, I mean, that I didn't have that before, right? I didn't have people in the community. I've been talking with Feeney all the time about shit. And am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, we're
okay,
good.
All right.
If I'm on the show, it's got a rated R rating on it.
I was gonna say
no. There's only been one episode, and that was Cam Thompson.
Oh well, that was good reason. Yeah.
You saw that one, right?
Yeah.
I got a warning label though when you were actually
did get a warning.
Me.
Well, I mean, Cam's got a high bar to set. Us Cam's got to reel us in. Right? It's tough, but I mean, it's those people. I mean, Graydon, you can speak to them like, and that was just one garage too, right? Like, that wasn't even the Pinty's guys that we get to see, and then the Outlaw Midgets, the OSS crew, just even the weekly racers we've never even met, and they're just like sending kind messages, and you're like, what have we done to do? What did we do? I was like, we don't know what we're doing. You thought
the Stickers N Scuffs podcast. How much more can that be? Well, you guys are creating some of the best content out there. Dead serious.
Enough for that. No, enough of that buttering shit. Okay. We don't need to hear that.
I'm not joking.
I mean, it's don't get me wrong. It's nice. And I appreciate it. We both appreciate it. But Graydon, what's the one thing that we said when we did this? I mean, we're not doing this for us. We're giving back because these people are our heroes. I mean, Feeney's a hero of mine because these guys, they have balls of steel to do this, really. Because frankly, I couldn't do it.
We're gonna change that. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh, you are. Not
yes,
definitely not gonna change that. That's not happening.
Hold on, we're gonna ask that question a little bit. I want to get into this because Brandon brought it up tonight, and I think it's the perfect time to get into this. Brandon, what happened on social media this week that you pointed out that you thought would have been a great time to have tonight on this show?
So there's episode of this that we filmed at Motorama that Jomo asked me some questions during a special segment. Cam, you post on social media about your camp counselor days. Mm-hmm. and your name you had at camp counseling. Well, Graydon trying to poke funny a little bit, and then we told him that he has to be your checkers, he's records. So Jomo has a great segment called Checkers or Records.
Nice.
So we're gonna bring this in. So we got checkers and records here. So now it's kind of a competition between the two of you.
Okay.
So it kind of started with the diecast. You guys are kind of one apiece with the diecast. You guys both got stumped on the Allison car for a while, so you kind of seen the name. So I think we got a few questions that we worked probably 10 minutes of before you guys came on. So,
yeah, we threw this together like 20 minutes before you guys came on.
Did you consider our ages in this? Because I got to go against a grandpa over here.
Well, it's not only
tried
just
to.
NASCAR stuff, but it's also Ontario short track stuff.
Oof.
Oh
yeah, boys, get ready for this.
You know,
Alrighty.
we're good buddies and we're brothers. Now you're gonna friggin' now all of a sudden tomorrow the podcast is over. Because we just like what happened? Oh, the True North Racing podcast. That's what happened.
Screw that guy.
It's gonna be my fault again.
All right, guys. So if you guys haven't heard, this is a game that we did on the driver's seat when we had Caitlin and Megan, and I would want to say it went horribly right.
Okay.
Because I sat there every Tuesday night picking out the questions, and I got some of the funniest ones ever because some of them played into what was going on that weekend, what just happened, and they couldn't guess them. So that was my favorite part about it. What it is I have a minute up on the clock. I'm going to give you guys each a minute because there are bonus points available in each one.
Oh, this is not going to be good.
The questions are a mix of NASCAR and Ontario short track racing, ranging. Yeah, I'm not even going to go for that one. Graydon, we have you up first.
Okay.
You ready to answer some?
Let her rip.
All right. Timer starts after I finish the first question. Who was the inaugural APC champion in 2015?
I know it.
That's why we didn't give it to you. No hints. No cheating.
Can I phone a friend?
No. You got 45 seconds.
You would have
got a
phoned
few
me.
more questions.
Yeah, Cam.
Can you say pass?
No, because you got your own
can't say
questions.
pass.
Is it Shea Gemmell?
No.
No.
Who finished fourth in the inaugural Quick Wick Superstock Championship?
Oh my God.
I don't even know that.
Finish for oh my God. Pass.
Who was the first woman to drive in NASCAR?
First Janet Guthrie.
Bonus points if you actually you can't give me a year for that one. Who was Dale Earnhardt's crew chief in 1998 when he won the 500?
Larry Mack.
In the hit movie Days of Thunder, where is the barn located where Harry Hogg said his famous speech to the car?
It was in Wilkesboro County, North Carolina, was it not?
Well, no, that is incorrect.
Oh, balls.
So you scored 1 out of 5.
Oh, nice. Cleaned up.
I think
Was it Dale Shaw? That was the first APC.
Dale
champ?
Shaw was
Oh,
the
damn
inaugural
it.
champion. Dwayne the Bully Baker finished fourth in the inaugural
best beard
Quick
in the
Wick.
business.
So they said it was the first lady of NASCAR, and it was Louise Smith.
I would have. There was no way I would have known that.
Nope.
And there's bonus points there, and the bonus point was the year she drove, and that was 1947.
It was a little before my time, man.
Yeah.
Well, we figured ladies of the month. Maybe you did some research back into ladies racing.
That's why.
That would have been before NASCAR was even established.
Yeah.
That's old school.
Would you guys look on Wikipedia before we did this?
Yeah, we did. Google was amazing. You got the Larry Mack question right, and
Yes.
the barn is located in Mooresville.
Oh, I thought it was Wilkes County. Well, I set the bar high for Cam.
I think we gave Cam the harder questions because he is more of a history buff with
Not
racing.
fair.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
So I did give
Food.
I did give you guys some extra time so we can get through the questions because these are awesome questions. I didn't want them to go into waste. So I'm going to throw up maybe 2 minutes for Cam.
I got
Cam,
2 minutes.
You get 2 minutes. See, I figured it was about 2 minutes for
It's gonna be
Graydon,
like
so...
who finished 7th in like the Daytona 500 in 1964.
No, nothing that bad.
No, nothing that bad. This is gonna be fun. You ready?
Yeah.
In 2015, this eventual champion finished 7th in APC series points.
This eventual champion?
Eventual.
Andrew Gressel.
Wrong.
Damn it.
In 2021, who finished 5th in the Quick Wicks Superstocks series?
Sorry, in what year?
2021.
Finished 5th.
Yep.
Ryan Dyson.
Wreckers. Who was Darrell Waltrip's crew chief when he won the 500?
Hammond.
Checkers. How many times has the Clash winner won the 500? And you get bonus points if you can give me the names.
The Clash winners that also won the 500. Let's see.
Same year.
Oh, in the same year?
Yep.
Balls. You know what? I'm gonna say 3 have done it. I don't know.
Wreckers.
Well.
But if you can give me names, you get bonus points.
Waltrip, Earnhardt, what the hell won the 5? Petty.
Wrong on all of them. And this has to do with your 100th episode.
Okay.
How many races has Mario Andretti won in NASCAR?
1.
Checkers.
Victory!
And there it is.
Frig, that was terrible. Who the hell was it? Was it Jared Fitzpatrick?
No, the
No.
eventual champion finished 7 points.
Not
And
critical.
was Brandon Watson.
Oh, Brandon Watson.
I was gonna say JR.
In
Were
2021,
those, I did say other champions though, right? That was something legit, so I should points for that, right?
No.
we weren't. No.
You already won. You want bonus points now?
It's about padding the resume, my
He
friend.
just wants to rub it in. Ray Morneau finished 5th in the Quick Wick Superstock Series in 2021.
Right, he did do super stocks. Yeah, that's right.
Hammond was Darrell Waltrip's crew chief when he won the 500. The Clash winner has also won the 500 6 times.
I was halfway there.
Bobby Allison in 82, Bill Elliott in 87, Dale Jarrett did it twice in 96 and 2000, Jeff Gordon in 97, and Denny Hamlin in 2016.
Well, of course, it would be a Hamlin answer.
Think of it as a Bobby Allison man.
I wasn't alive when that happened.
I wasn't either, but I got the question.
I should have
Who was
got
that?
Owen down here for the.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the stat guy. He would have pulled
Yeah.
that out of his ass, man.
But we're gonna jump over to our fan question period. Earlier today, up on social media, we put out there that you guys were coming on the show tonight, and we got some questions. You guys ready to answer them?
No.
Oh, don't worry, Cam. They're not terrible.
We had fans. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Brandon, you go ahead with your question, bud.
Okay, so my question is, we've already had Graydon in the car. We're going to get Jon in my car. What will it take to put Cam into my car? Not the super stock, but even if it's a bone stock or a mini stock, not even like racing, but let's get you out there on the track. What's it going to take?
$1 million.
That was
What if we
fact.
make it for like a charity where you can't say no?
Oh,
Ooh.
I would do stuff for a charity, absolutely. But
hold up.
I'll tell you the reason why. Hi Nala. Sorry. Let's get cat butt out of the way.
My cat's doing the same thing right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm a little different from Graydon. Growing up, you know what my hero was Alan Bastwick. I wanted to always be an announcer, and I think somebody here in the chat already made that happen. So I've kind of fulfilled my goals here. Driving a car, I have no need here to drive a car, so I don't have a license or anything like that. Do I think I do really well driving in a circle? Probably better than driving on the road, honestly. But I don't have any ambition to do so. I leave it to the professionals because they're the ones that deserve the seat time, not me. Not to mention trying to fit in one of those cars and squeeze myself through a small ass window. That ain't just not. I don't go that way. Okay.
If we can get Fat Mike into a car, he is bigger than you are.
Hey,
you guys both know who Fat Mike is.
Yeah,
I got a really good one here. What would it take for you to get behind, not even the wheel, in the passenger seat of Chris Lawrence's Bone Stock?
Damn it!
For charity.
Who asked that question?
That's a me question.
Oh,
or we could get you into McCall's late model, 2-seater late model.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding?
What if I'm driving it?
Absolutely double not.
Sign me up. I'm in.
I seen Feeney drive, man. No.
You've never seen me hit a wall.
No, I haven't seen you hit a wall, but you actually drive pretty clean. So, I mean, that's pretty good. APC. I mean, let's be honest here, okay? I'm great at watching. I'm the best watcher of motorsports that you'll ever. I'm a pro at sitting on my ass. Okay.
Good. You just sit in
the
when chair.
It comes, well, hold on. But when it comes to then having to sit and then go fast, okay. This frame is meant to say stationary. Not meant to.
I don't agree.
No. Listen, I went for the most speed encountered for myself. You'd got to go back to grade 10, Canada's Wonderland. And I can't remember the name of it, but it was a stand-up roller coaster.
Oh,
that's the only roller coaster I've been on in my life.
Really?
Only one. And I'll tell you, it's the only one.
Dude, that was the most fun.
You went on the stand-up one?
Dude,
you gotta go on the Mind Buster, the wood one.
Yeah.
Oh, I have not had something right up my ass so hard before.
You gotta get him on Top Gun.
I could no. They tried that afterwards. Absolutely not. Top
Gun's where it's at.
Wish, okay, I don't have a death wish, and when I went under that first loop, I lost my neck. Okay, I was like this, right? Literally. So if I'm going to be in the race car, I'm not going to go back to like that.
We'll give you a Hans device. It won't happen then.
Now,
yeah, Hans device, 5-point harness.
Yeah.
To be fair, I do trust Chris Lawrence a little bit.
Only a little bit.
He is called the Cowboy, so you've got the other side, right?
That'd be the best ride of your life in that car.
Well, I disagree about best ride of my life, but that will leave that for something else. But now you're gonna get that taken away, eh? That rating's gonna get changed. Yeah, this is the stuff that we can do on True North Racing, right, Greg?
Exactly. You get away with it here because it's a lot more fun when we have this stuff in.
Did I mention
this
I'm
is
single
the After
too?
Dark episode.
No, in all honesty though, it's just a comfort thing for me. Honestly, when you deal with anxiety, you got to decide what you're going to deal with. The fact that I can even talk in front of people is big enough, but I'm not going to lie. I have had the passing thought of potentially doing just to try it. Because we talked at length with Chris about, I have a lot of anxiety about driving on the road, not for myself. I think I do fine. It's driving with other people. I live in Scarborough, so let's.
Yeah.
I
was there 2 weeks ago. I understand.
I don't need to say much. Really.
I avoid that area.
Yeah, as anyone should. In PSA, don't. I love it here. I love it here, but honestly, all those listening to the Racing Podcast, maybe stay away from Scarborough for driving. Just saying.
I will go the back roads to Sunset, so I don't have to try to get off of the DVP.
Fair point. I mean, Graydon, we went for. I mean, and that's the other thing too. Is there are some things about driving I would not be able to handle. Graydon, how long was that drive to GP3R? Because we got stuck on a detour. Do you remember when we sat?
That turned
that was...
like from a 6 to an 8 hour. It was like a work day trying to get there.
Oh, and I'm afraid that I would do the Fast and the Furious move. Honestly, just pedal to the metal and just be like, you know what? Screw all you guys. I'm going home. You know.
Sounds like you're ready.
But honestly, for anxiety purposes, I think Chris would be a great teacher for that. And you know, he said that that's what they do with their rental program. And I've never had that ambition to get behind the wheel and drive. I really am more of a, I'd love to be like a Brendan Doherty or a Charlie Toner or Adam Ross, Greg Calman, and just call the action. Because for me, that's the excitement.
Oh yeah.
Right. Where Graydon, I know Graydon talking about like how excited he was getting behind the wheel. And I'd be like, I'd be shitting my pants. Really. Be like, I'm going to get friggin' run over here. And
so no,
it's like that Ricky Bobby
commentary.
scene. Remember that movie in Talladega Nights with Ricky Bobby? And he's like, I'm going fast. And it's like, how fast is he going? Like 26 miles an hour. And he's just like crawling. That would
Those
be
other cars are rocket ships.
Were those other cars? Oh my God, I'm on fire.
That reminds me of that
Honestly,
7-Up
Cam,
commercial.
Honestly, Cam, I feel the same way, except for I'm torn between wanting to race and wanting to announce and talk, and because I feel there's a not a need per se, but there's a I gotta jump I've it's been sitting on my mind. You know, you said you took some broadcasting classes back in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the funny part. I had a similar thing happen to me in high school. I was in a guitar class or drama class. I can't remember which one of the two. And the teacher came up to me and said, "Hey, Jon, how about you want to do the morning announcements?" So I started doing the morning announcements every day at my high school after that. And I'm like, again, didn't think about it, didn't think nothing of it. My grandfather, he was in broadcasting. He worked for CBC back in the day. He did stuff for CNIBC, I think it's called. It's he did a lot of stuff for audiobooks for blind people. He did a lot of that. So he had an in-house studio. Again, never clicked in that I ever wanted to think about doing broadcasting or talk about do this stuff until 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we never thought of it.
I feel for you, and I understand where you're coming from, because there are some great announcers out there, and when you listen to them, you just get mesmerized in the action. And at the same time, I'm on the same page as Brandon and Graydon over here. Is I want to go out there and I want to go fast. I'm not talking about Ricky Bobby speed. I want to go as fast as Brandon does, because Brandon's pretty quick. You are quick, and
I'm close.
You're quick. Don't even lie. I
I'm
watched
close.
you race.
I honestly need the budget to be able to hire somebody to set the car up and help me out at the track.
Yeah.
That's what I honestly need.
We're we can keep going on this, but we have more fan questions. I know, more than one.
That was two, buddy.
It was more than There was
more than two.
There's two. There's a whole other conversation here. This is the best part about. I don't care how long this show runs, because I'll just put it out as is, because this is going to be so much fun for people to listen to. The next question comes to us from William_Trillium. He goes, "What is the coolest part of getting to talk to so many different people in racing?"
That we get to talk to so many different people in racing. I mean, what's not to love about that? It's all the reasons why we do the different shop tours we do, and why we talk to all the different drivers from all the different series. It's just, I think when you're a true Canadian racing fan, or you just can't get enough of it. So it doesn't much matter. Just talk it up, talk racing all the time.
I think it's rewarding.
Oh yeah.
And the reason it's rewarding is because it clues you in. Some of the people, like, we've been so incredibly blessed to talk to. Some of the people literally have reached out, which we never would have expected. We've had a moment where people want to come and talk, and whether they actually want to talk to us or they want to use it for promotional purposes just to get their name out there, doesn't matter. It's an honor, and to be able to talk with people. Both Graydon and I have gotten to talk to our heroes. We got to talk to Alan Bestwick, and I've never been so emotional trying to do an interview. And Graydon, in our last episode with Mario Andretti, got to speak with a racing hero of his, and the my cat's playing with a screw, it sounds like, but the rewarding aspect of it is to live out kind of your ultimate dream, and talking to Alan Bestwick and not getting emotional, like it's hard to do. But I'll say that we never expected to, at the end of every show, in most cases, Graydon and I think we say the same things, is we end it with a smile, and we normally end up saying, I like that person, I like that guy, I like that girl, and then talk about what we could see them doing, talking about how good of a rep they are, how good of a personality. One of our recent episodes with Reese Bourgeois, what a character, hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And Layla Walzer. I mean, we had our ladies of the Oval month, and it was remarkable because a lot of these people you just never interacted at all.
Yep.
And this is the first interaction that you're getting, and I mean, they always say your first impression is the most important. And some of the people that we interacted with, it's like, why are you struggling for budget? Because we can think of thousands of amazing companies in Canada. There's tons of them, and all these people are amazing reps. I mean, it's like, I mean, Feeney with Dr. Pepper. It is a match made in heaven, right?
Dude, is it ever? I'm
Right?
trying to line up a sponsorship for us.
But it's about getting that first interaction. And I almost feel like, Graydon, when we started, we weren't as excited after every episode as we are now, because the personalities are just so damn good. The entertainment that you get from talking with them. There's been a couple that have been maybe a little standoffish or a little quiet or maybe not really into it. But the ones that have been coming on this past, like 2023, 2022, when we first started, I think we weren't enjoying it as much because it was so new.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what we were supposed to do. And I think the more natural that we are, I think the better.
Yeah, it's nerves too, initially too. Because like, if you look back to our older, like our first episodes, it was rough, like
terrible.
But just to kind of improve on the art of the interview and that sort of thing, it's where we're just starting to sort of hit our stride and feel kind of comfortable in our podcasting skin, I guess you'd say, that we aren't busy worrying about, oh my God, do I sound stupid on that? Like, what does my voice sound like? Or it's comfortable now, and we can kind of put more of our focus on making the product, or making the guests feel welcome, and making the conversation kind of feel more organic and less robotic interview type stuff. Just that sort of, it's kind of cool how far, like, to watch our old stuff to the new stuff. I'm not saying that we're great interviewers or anything, but it's cool, at least for me personally, to see my progress especially like where I was probably mad by the time I got on to some of the interviews because I was having such a hard time hooking up, getting into the chat or whatever.
He would be. He'd sometimes come on. He'd come on Zoom swearing because he was having such a hard time figuring it out, right? And it's true. We didn't expect that. I mean, the one thing I want, I think, when people ask, you know, what's it like? Well, we don't expect it. It's still like, when the fact that you even asked us to come on here, it doesn't make sense to us still, because we don't, I mean,
I felt the same way when you guys asked me. So I mean,
yeah, it's like we don't, what if we really, like, we look at it and go, we're not doing anything like, I don't know how to explain it, but we just don't feel that we're that special, right? We're just regular guys. We're not.
It's an imposter syndrome thing where it
really
feels
is.
like, I mean, we're not saving the world. We're not doing like God's work or anything, but we're doing stuff that makes us and the people who tune into what we do happy. And that is the biggest reward of it of all. I mean, what we're doing is helping make these long, cold, dark months that much shorter and make race season feel that much closer. And and I think this off season especially, I feel like more people are aware of how being happy and doing things that make you happy are more important. And I don't feel like this off season was painted like the doom and gloom. And that's partly because like we're not in the midst of being locked down in our houses or anything like that. But take that out of it. Like, this racing off season, just the atmosphere and the feeling from not just NASCAR, but all the series. There's things changing with Oscar and that sort of thing too, but it's all hype this year. It's anticipation. It's not like, are we going to see a green flag due to like financial reasons or this or that or the other? I mean, it's just, it's a really good off season to be doing what we're doing, especially, and really propriating like the good times and making everybody feel like, hey man, and we'll be back at the track in the grandstands or in the pits before we know it.
I think it's very key. I mean, we both of us have our struggles with mental health, and we've both experienced different varieties of struggles. And the fact is that I'm happier, and I think Graydon's happier when we're talking about racing, because it's our therapy, right?
Oh yeah.
And especially during the winter months, especially after wrapping up racing season, you have a long way to go until it comes back. And for years, how many times were people really doing anything regarding racing? And now all of a sudden you've got yourself, you've got our podcast, you got Wide World Motorsports, Racing It Out. All these guys are still going. We're going into the off season. Race Time Radio, Joe Chisholm Sr. told us when we interviewed him, and he made a great point in that there's so many people that come in wanting to do a podcast and he said that they've seen it for years. 17 years is a long time.
Oh yeah.
And we started off with a podcast that joined around the same time that we did as well. And we're not sure what's going on with them. It's hard work, and people don't understand. We're both full-time workers. We have full-time jobs.
Yep.
And we do this on the side after work.
Yep.
And it sure doesn't pay like the day job.
It sure doesn't pay like the day job, but it's the more rewarding, I think, for both of us. And at the end of the day, I mean, we got our name because of Graydon, and it came from the two different types of personalities we are, and the two different walks of life that we are. The only reason that we are even together in this venture is because of motorsports. We would have never interacted with each other before. That's why we want to give back, because it's given so much to us. We met such cool people. And I mean, you're both of you guys in that conversation. I mean, Feeney, I mean, you started communicating with me before I even knew what you did, right? Like, I didn't know what you drove. I honestly, I didn't know much about, and it was in my own ignorance, to be honest with you, about motorsports in Canada. I really didn't know. And I think Graydon, I'm not speaking out of turn, I don't think, with that you were the same. Like, we really kind of only knew the Pinty series and maybe the APC series, but we didn't really dive into the weekly racers and how amazing they are. And
yeah, that's like, I've learned more about racing in Ontario in the last year and a half than I have in the prior 40 before that.
Yeah, it's an education for us as well. And I think because we both have interests and drives, and we started this out, and I remember saying, like, if we can get one person a partner, one person a sponsor, if we can bring new eyes, then we've done our job, right? It's not a job that anybody gave to us. We want to do it to reward the people who literally sacrifice so much. They sacrifice time, they sacrifice a lot of money, sacrifice relationships, they sacrifice a lot. And I mean, we've had haters. I've had people that have literally told me to my face that I'm not, no one's going to want to listen to you guys. That was the first introduction we had, was no one's going to want to listen to you guys. That was the reality.
Yeah.
No one knows who you are.
Certain media
was like that.
Writers would say, like, you guys have you're not accredited by it, you're not professionals in any way. Yet that was where, and look at the world now too, in terms of sports podcasts.
Oh yeah.
Or any just general interest. Fan testimonial is far more important than listening to some stiff talk robotic about something. Like, it's such a, I mean, media and credited news outlets have their place, don't get me wrong, but I mean, in terms of helping sell a product, like a niche sport such as motorsports of any kind of discipline, isn't it awesome to have the people that pay the money to sit in the stands tout your brand for you? Like, this is, it's like we're kind of helping promote our sport, if you will, and we're not doing it for the financial compensation. It's, as Adam Ross has told us time and again, the passion will fuel you, and it'll separate you from the others. And it definitely, I totally see that now.
And we owe the amount of people that we owe a million times gratitude to. The list is so long, but I mean, it really kind of starts with some of the names from the industry. I mean, I spoke to Adam. I finally had the courage to speak to him back in 2019 at Toronto, and he was amazing. I was so nervous to talk to him as well. And
I'm still nervous to talk to him, and I saw him almost every other weekend with the CDMs.
Yeah, and Todd Lewis was able to speak to him and at Toronto as well. And all of a sudden, these people are the ones that were vouching for us.
Yeah.
When I can't remember what I think it was, may have been Tony Spiteri was trying to, like, who are these guys, right? And it was Clinton and Adam who were the guys that vouched for us.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to do that, but they did. And we can't thank them enough. I mean, the fact that Caitlin Patrick and Stephen Ellis does not get enough love from the people within the NASCAR world. That guy, for what he did for just on a personal note for me, because I was so anxious in 2021. I remember messaging him countless times being like, what do I do in this case? And what's going to happen here? And oh my God, right? And he was delightful, absolutely delightful. And Caitlin and the people at NASCAR, Tony, just, we call him Uncle Tony for a reason, right? And the people, the advice that people give, the support that they give is remarkable. And that's where you go, man, I want to help. And that's was like, we can start off being like, Xfinity trucks, they don't need help. They don't really, they've got their own promotion and stuff, right? We have an hour.
Yeah.
That's what we have. We have an hour on TSN 1, 2, 3, or 5, right?
Maybe.
4 or 5.
Yep.
Maybe. And maybe it's on at 2 a.m. Right?
Don't get me started on that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it is the amount of people. I mean, Mike Sullivan, for even giving us the opportunity to start. Obviously, the fact is that people gave us an opportunity. People gave you an opportunity. People came on the show. They don't have to do that. And the fact that they do, and the fact that they show that much respect, means they deserve it right back. Again, you would expect, and I think we were kind of ignorant in that sense, in that we expected people to be kind of snobby. I mean, that's just you go to a cup race. I went to a cup race in 2007, and it was like the drivers were behind like security lines.
Don't even know.
You can't even go up and interact with them, and they don't spend any money. I mean, I remember interacting with Reed Sorensen.
Yep.
And he was the only. Because there was no line. Sorry, Reed, but there was no line at his merch thing, but he didn't really have any interest. Whereas, literally, if you start talking to one of these drivers, they talk back.
Oh yeah,
they interact. They ask you how you're doing.
Yep.
What do you mean? What am I? Why are you asking me? Right?
It's crazy. Some of the conversations, I carry on almost a daily basis. Brandon and I talk almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
We got a snap streak going.
Yeah, we do have a snap streak going. But that's the best thing is, like, I'm going to be honest. I figured this podcast would maybe be like covering Flamborough stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be completely honest. All of a sudden I met Feeney, and the way we even met was hysterical. How he thought I was Johnny Morrison from Sunset. It's even better. And he's like, where's your car? I'm like, what do you mean, where's my car? I don't have a car. I wish. Those are my cars back there up on the shelf. Those are my cars.
I came in a Dart. That's my car.
I came in a Dart. Like, that's. But the fact that I've gotten to meet so many great people in the local motorsports community. I've had people come up to me and be like, hey man, I listened to last week's podcast. I love it. I'm like, I sit there and I'm like, I don't know how to talk to you, because I was like, thank you. Like, what'd you like about it? Like, my dumbass goes to like a weird place when
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
I sit there like my instant. I was like, oh, what'd you like about it? Did you like the ending? Did you like the beginning? Did you like when I shut it up? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's awesome the people we get to meet while doing this, because I have said time and time again, I have walked by J.R. Fitzpatrick numerous times at Flamborough. Never in my wildest dreams would I ever expect to get a message from him asking to come on the podcast. I would have never believed that. I would have said, you're a liar. Anyone else I would have known would have said, you're a liar.
Yeah.
I've got
The
laughed by
fact that-
JR a few times.
Dude, to me, that's an honor. I don't give a damn. That's an honor.
Yeah.
I got laughed in warm-up laps. That was the worst part. Like, we weren't even green flag racing. We were just putting heat in the tires. And there's JR. This was a bad idea.
We do got a couple more questions to get through here. We got Rob Twitchett coming at us here. He goes, what other shows, podcasts, or media personalities were your influences?
The man himself, Dale Jr.
I would say that's probably the closest thing for me. Like, I was a big Junior fan, and honest, like, I am still kind of the old school. Like I like to turn on my TV and watch a TV show. So I'm coming into the age of podcasts being my entertainment. Like,
Yeah.
and I'd never, like I said, we'd never had a preconceived desire or notion that we were going to do this. So like, I don't know. Never had influences for this. Is just something that, I mean, now that we're into it, I like the way Alan Bestwick conducts an interview. I like the
Yeah.
way Marty Snyder does an interview. I like just watching people conduct interviews. I mean, I kind of maybe take something from it, maybe subconsciously. I don't know, but I just think it's fun to talk to people week in and week out, and as we say, we don't like it being an interview per se. It's stuff that we want to know about from those people that we would ask them. But like, that's what I always said to DJ when I got to talk to him. Like you said, when DJ Kennington phones you to talk to you on the phone, it's like, what? Like, and he's talking to you about stuff that's not anything to do with racing, but like there's just things that you want to ask him that, like, when he's at the track, as anybody knows DJ, especially when he's got more than one car to look after, he is all business, and you don't talk to him about, hey, what'd you do for dinner or whatever, you know what I mean? But it's I don't know, that's a long roundabout way to answer that question, but I don't know. Just influences come from everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think for myself, obviously Dale Jr. was the newest like motorsports podcast kind of.
Yep.
Door Bumper Clear. I think those guys are hilarious, and
yes, they are.
I'm actually going to say that I didn't get into the motorsports podcast idea until like Stock Talking with Graydon. I mean, my actual first exposure was the guys at on Overdrive on TSN. 1050. I don't even know if it's even 1050 anymore. Geez, but also Chris Hardwick used to have a podcast that he would do. Tim and Sid, like those are the, and I kind of thought of, if we can be kind of those goofy motorsports guys that aren't, but also in the same sense, like Kendra Adams had a podcast on Short Track Canada for a long period of time, and then Race Time Radio. I grew up with Race Time Radio, so. I mean, and I couldn't tell you if Joe Jr. was on the show back then, but I remember Joe Sr. Like his voice is like ingrained into my brain because I remember listening to him. I think they did broadcasts of races at some point as well that they would have at the race.
They still do.
Yeah, well, no, I know they still do. But I mean, like at the actual cast car races, they would be on the PA, right? And so we were very aware of those guys, but in terms of like what we kind of try to aim to be, I mean, we ask questions and stuff, but getting the opportunity to be a little goofy is what I think you kind of need, because people don't want to hear straight interviews all the time. I mean, it can be a little bit repetitive, right?
You want it to be a conversation. You want to have
shoot the
fun.
shit.
Because exactly. Like that's the premise of like this entire thing is, I wanted to treat it like as if we're sitting in the shop and the race cars right around us. Like that's kind of like the goal of this, is to create that environment that we're just in a shop. We're just talking like buddies, but at the same time that it's getting to explore you and finding out how you became where you are today. Right?
Yeah. It's funny how much you change throughout it. I mean, from a guy that I never physically met, after we did the podcast for almost a year before we actually physically met for the first time. And
it was at my stomp. Oh yeah, it was Sunset. Sorry, I thought you guys had a
Sunset.
So I was going to say, like, you guys were at my stomping ground at Flamborough. It was like, no,
yeah, that was man, we were so crushed because we absolutely loved that race, and the weather didn't cooperate when we were there, but we didn't meet for like a full year, and so we recorded the meeting for the first time. We met the Bunn sons, and now the Bunsons are friggin' taller than both of us, or at least Owen is right now, and they're growing up. And I mean, it's funny how much things it feels like we've been doing it for like 10 years, but it's only been like 2. And
it's crazy.
It's nuts. And I'm gonna make him cry on this episode because I say to it before is that I for the longest time I did not, and just I know you're hungry, my friend, but you're gonna have to wait. But
funny, that's the same thing they say to my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't my cat, that was me actually.
I just realized I haven't eaten dinner yet. So yeah.
But I had a long period of time where I did not have friends. Long period. And to start this podcast with somebody I met via Twitter and didn't actually physically meet, there's just some people you click with. And I'm gonna try myself not to get emotional, but I never thought I would find a best friend. And it happened through this podcast, and my life has gotten so much better than what it was 3 years ago. I was so miserable in so many aspects of my life, and to have somebody who actually checks how and asks how I'm doing. He doesn't realize, I mean, Graydon doesn't know how much that makes me want to continue, because for a long period of my life, I didn't want to be here. Right. And I'm very open about that, because I think the racing community accepts that. I mean, they accept that we all have our own faults and we all have our own difficulties, and to find somebody who had liked me for who I was from the beginning. Yes, we connected with racing, but it could have been like a year into it, and he said, "Yeah, you know what? We're just here for the podcast." That's not it at all, right? And it's to find a brother like that, who literally we exchange gifts at Christmas, and which, constantly checking in on each other, and the conversations constantly, and sounding boards. That's what you need.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to have a co-host and a buddy like that, a brother, who honestly is my closest confidant. He's the person that I talk to daily. He is my podcast wife. I am his podcast wife. Sorry, Jess. But
Jesus.
The reality is that when we go to the races, man, it's a friggin' blast with that guy right there. Really, it is just the best time. And the fact is that this could have gone really horribly. This whole thing could have been a complete disaster, and it almost was, right? And the fact is that we said to each other that it has to be fun. It can't be a job. It can't be something that we don't want to do. And he said, if we ever get to that point where we don't want to do it, then we failed, right? But this has been so much fun, and it continues to be fun.
And the thing, it's kind of by necessity grown into its own little business, and we're still kind of having fun doing it. I mean, the workload sure hasn't gotten any smaller or any easier, I would say.
It never does. Once you start getting bigger, it stops.
Well, I mean, we got to a point too, like where you look at subscribership, which, I mean, that's something too where professionals caution you, like, not a lot of people by and large subscribe to everything anymore, and to look more at your overall impressions that you leave across all your platforms and on socials and stuff. Like, just the education that we're getting, like advice that we get from those people that Cam mentions, like the Tony Spitaris, even if it's constructive criticism, or just whenever somebody that cares to impart any sort of advice or wisdom with us, we soak it in and try to apply it to just, cause that's once you kind of get complacent or whatever, I mean, where you feel like you're maybe not chasing it as hard, then maybe it is time to look at doing something different. But it seems like the further we get into this, the more that we want to keep the like polishing the product and making it as good as it can be and trying new things. And what are we going to do to outdo ourselves next time? I mean, it's all part of the fun that and the thing that keeps driving us to do that, I think.
I 100% agree. Like it's, but I feel like all of us are on the same page, which is awesome because we all want to see racing succeed. That's the main goal.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to see these cars end up in garages and then in 50 years, you know, we're all old and grandpas and, you know, grandkids come over and it's like, Grandpa, what's that in the barn? Oh, let me tell you about us. You know, we don't want that. We want to inspire these next generations and we want to see the sport grow organically. We don't want to see it grown. We want to rein these people in, show them the product, and let them be hooked by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we really want to see.
Yep.
Which obviously, first of all, it's great because I feel there's one thing that I see at every beginning of the race season, and I want it to remain true. And I'm trying my darndest to continue to try and bring someone new to the track every year.
Mm-hmm.
I did that in 2021 with my fiance's sister.
Mm-hmm.
She had never been to the races, never really cared to. We brought her to the Memorial Night at Flamborough Speedway. So they have a corn roast afterwards. So the fans who are on the grandstand side are allowed to come down on the track, come across into the pits, and they get there's a corn roast that are shucked by the racers and crew members and staff of Flamborough Speedway, and it is a grand time. But guess what? We had to go run to do some CVM stuff, Jacqueline and myself. So we left her sister up by the backstretch wall while we ran to go shoot some footage real quick. And the pro late models are out there, and I know she's gonna hate me because I know she listens to this show. She's gonna hate me say this. She really loves Kyle Steckley, and this was Kyle's rookie pro late model year. Like he won the championship that year, and she was just standing there. And we're walking away, and all I see is this just. And I'm joking, and me and Jacqueline are joking, and there's like, we just created a fan out of her. And what's even better is that yesterday, Jacqueline made us breakfast, and we're sitting there. Next, you know, what does she turn on? G-Force TV, and she puts on September 9th Oswego from 2022. She's also watching Delaware stuff. She's watching whatever she can because guess what? Now we just hooked a new fan.
Yeah.
She has her favorite racers. She already has her favorite racer. She loves who she loves, which is awesome to see. And I want to continue every year to try and bring someone new to the racetrack to try and hook up.
Absolutely.
And that actually is going to lead me into my next question here, because we still got 2 more questions to go here. This one comes to us from Michael Wallace. I don't think so. Jesus. I think, oh man, I feel like, sorry if I got the name wrong. Give me 2 seconds here.
Michael Wallace from the Wide World of Motorsports.
Yeah. I gotta double check here.
He's a good buddy.
I wrote the question down, but I forgot to include who it was. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Michael Wallace. You have one race, track, and series to bring someone who isn't a race fan to. Where are you bringing them?
Oh boy.
That's a loaded question, eh?
That's a very loaded question. I think for myself, it's obviously Canadian racing. It doesn't hold a candle to. I mean, I understand people like the NASCAR down south and stuff, but to me, I absolutely love because it's all Canadian, right? I mean, that's the biggest attraction for me. Yep. But I'll be honest with you, for me, like the best bang for your buck is Peterborough Speedway. And I'm not saying that because Feeney's on
Yes,
on
you
here,
are. Don't
but,
lie to us.
yeah, I
I've
totally am.
raced almost all the tracks though, so to be fair, it's
I'm gonna say the first experience that I ever had watching the Autumn Colors Classic was one of the absolute best times I've ever had, aside from it being freezing, and that's only because I'm not used to being out at that. Once it gets a little bit cold, I'm inside for the rest of it. Yeah, I'm not. No, I like my heat. I don't like it cold. And I just maybe was a little unprepared. Let's be honest. That was probably it. But from start to finish, the amount of different classes that they had, the amount of different, the amount of cars they had, the stands, the atmosphere, it was phenomenal. I absolutely think that somebody coming to a race for the first time, bringing them to say a empty stadium because there's nobody there, or to an event that's filled with or not filled with any cars or anything like that, it's not really showcasing the best of the best. Whereas I feel the ACC was, for me at least, the best of the best showcase of local racing, where you're racing any old thing. And I think the one thing that attracts people is similarities. Our Pinty series, absolutely, I would love to showcase that right away, but not everybody is going to like those types of cars. Whereas all of a sudden, if you bring bone stocks out, people go, oh, I know that car. I know somebody that can drive that car, and I want to see the Sunfire win, or I want to see this car win, or I want to see this car win. We actually did the same. It's funny that you say that, Jon, about bringing somebody to the racetrack, because we both did that in 2021 at Flamborough, actually, for the Pinty's race. And a young family, a coworker of mine, brought his two young boys and his wife, and then they were cheering. They were picking which car was going to win. Never been to a race before, but that's for me as a kid. It was the paint schemes, right? And they like that you want to get the cool looking car, and you want the cool looking car to win, right? So, I think for me, ACC, for the amount of content that you get, absolutely, that was the way to go.
For me, I would say, I don't know if it's like specifically a track or series, but like to Cam's point, just taking a new fan to a short track Saturday night type venue or event it's what I did for my kids. Like I said, the first thing they went to see, they were, what were they, 3 and 5. But like, so the youngest one being 3, I mean, kids don't have long attention spans. I mean, grown-ups now don't have long attention spans. So I mean,
thank you,
taking them to something. But like taking them to a track, like a short track Saturday night kind of event, is you have several different series and different kinds of cars, and it's just something, and the races aren't very long, so it's something that people can get into, digest it quickly, and then the next series comes out and you see and hear a whole other set of cars and that sort of thing. So that, to me, taking a new fan to Sunset, to Peterborough, if they don't know what they're looking at, then they don't know what they're missing. They don't have any sort of preconceived notions of what the experience should be. And to me, a bad night at a racetrack's better than a good day at work. So I mean, if you're taking the fan there, and you're being kind of the ambassador that you are, bringing a new fan, you're going to try to hype it up and make the experience as much fun and a time that they're never going to forget. So I mean, it's all in how you pitch it to them too. It could be like a track that you might personally think is the most boring racing ever, but I mean, if you have the idea that you want to try and make a race fan out of this person, you're going to do your best to like point out the high points of something. And that's my best answer to that.
I got a fun little story I want to put in there on this one. So ever since I was 10 years old, I was hooked on racing, just everything to do with race cars. Dale Jr. was my guy. From 2002 and on, I was a big NASCAR fan. When I started going to the started going to Flamborough when I was on a regular basis when I was about 14 years old. Okay, the racing was cool. I knew a guy when I was 15 because he was on my volleyball team at school. So I went to high school with one of the racers. Had no clue until I was like, hey, wait a minute, Chris Van Dusen. I know that name. Go to school. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Hey, are you Chris Van Dusen? Yeah. Dude, I just saw you Saturday night at Flamborough. You know, and then we bonded because I saw Bennett. Was it Bennett? Oh, I can't remember whose trailer it was, but I saw one of the guys' trailer while we were heading up to on our bus trip up to one of the schools. But I what I wanted to tell you was like the reason I got really, really hooked on racing was the 2007 Great Canadian 300 at Delaware Speedway. The reason why is because I got to make a choice. It was either I got to go to the Paris Fair, which I never miss every year, and go see the Wilkinsons on Sunday night, which was the yearly country concert they put on. I saw them the year before. All right, cool. I didn't need to see them. I decided to go to Delaware Speedway. We got there. We left my grandparents' house in Brantford at 6 a.m. We drove out, got there, and it was like 8 or 9 a.m. The dew was still coming off the grass. The pits were just opening. Everyone was quiet. It felt like the Days of Thunder opening sequence.
Yeah.
That right there hooked me. Fully hooked me on racing, and the what it meant to me was literally walking throughout the pits until practice started about noon. I felt like I was in Days of Thunder. I was waiting to see Tom Cruise as Cole Trickle walking through there at some point.
Yeah.
But
it's true though, John, because you said the Days of Thunder, right?
Yep.
How you feel it. Well, like you, I started in 2002, Daytona 500, NBC, Sterling Marlin coming out of his race car trying to fix the front fender.
Ward Burton won that one, right?
Yeah.
Ward Burton, yeah.
You
Ward
got her,
Burton.
Feeney.
Ward Burton won that one, and I first got into that was my first hearing Alan Bestwick, right?
Yep.
So as soon as that happened, and Benny used to make me laugh. Benny and Wally made me laugh so much, and but the first race I actually ever went to was the 2003 Mossport Oval cast car, and when you first just go into the gate at Mossport, you can actually kind of see the back, like where the track is and everything. So we're walking through, and all of a sudden, like I didn't know that this thing existed I didn't know Canadian racing was a thing.
Yep.
Right. I only knew NASCAR Winston Cup Series, or the Busch Series. I didn't know anything up here. All of a sudden, you see a Canadian Tire car or a Home Hardware car. And back then, that's what we went to. Home Hardware. That was the Home Hardware was the store we went to, and it was all black. I'm like, that's like Dale Earnhardt. Like that's completely wrong, but that's. But Don Thompson Jr. looked in a way like Dale Earnhardt to me. He had the shades and everything like that. He was signing posters. He had the black suit and everything like that. And I remember seeing DJ, and I thought Brad Graham was like the coolest guy out there. And, you know, but that's when I got hooked. It was like, as soon as you're like realizing this is not just there's racing here. And now I guess I think for all of us, it's kind of like our like it's what we love absolutely through and through.
I think there's a football game on right now. If I don't know.
It's over now.
It's over.
Oh, is it? See, yeah.
Who won?
The Chiefs. I know. I was kind of going for Philly.
I'm getting money tomorrow then.
Well, Philly will be burning in the streets then. They didn't win.
We've recorded long enough that they played at least over the second half. But
so
I do want to get one more question in before we get wrapping up here, because I do want to get you guys going. It has been, first of all, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys. next, I swear to God, we need to do this as an off-season tradition. Is we get together. I don't even care if it's on this one and we make it live or something, but we need to do something and do a round table. Get, Clinton, Adam, Caitlin, Todd. We need to get Michael, James, all these guys. We need to get all of them. Get on here, do a live stream or something.
It's gonna be so chaotic,
dude.
We all want to talk.
Hope everyone's got 8 hours.
You're gonna need more than that.
It's gonna be an all-day telethon. I can just see it right now. But
call in with your donations right now to the 1-800 number above.
But the final question I want to get to here before we get wrapping up here is another one from Rob Twitchett, and he goes, "At what point did you know that your podcast has made it and was a success?"
We haven't made it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob, for the question. Really, that's that, and to everybody that asked the question. There's no such thing, I think, as making it. Not here, not yet, because we don't know what that is. Right. I think you're seeing it kind of. The landscape is changing. No matter what, you're not going to be everybody's bread and butter. Like, not everybody is going to like what you do, and not everybody's going to like the way you talk, and they're going to start their own podcast.
Yep.
That is what happens, right? And at the end of the day, we've had comments where people have said, the guest was great, but those two guys were awful. They're terrible interviewers. I was like, well, we're not interviewers. We're not professional. We're not journalists, right?
We do this for fun. We do this
two schmucks that like to talk racing, right?
Exactly.
We're just here for
feel the same way here.
Well, and that's the thing. Is
surprising there was none this week.
What, shenanigans?
Yeah.
There's still time.
No, there's not. Don't even think about
it. But yeah, I mean, saying that we made it, that's obviously very. Thank you. I don't think either one of us thought that we've done anything really. We were just here. I mean, that's it. We're just here. We're just trying. And thank you.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say is thank you. I guess you could say we've made it in the sense that we're doing our thing our way.
Yep.
In that sense, we've made it already, and that that sounds cliche and maybe a bit corny, but that part of it I would say is true. But I mean, it's hitting a moving target. I mean, like we don't even really know where we want to end up with this. So I mean, to say like what is making it, who knows? It's a bunch of fun, and that's like what we've kind of said throughout, like from the beginning of our deal and throughout this episode. When we're not having fun anymore or the racing stops, that's when we'll quit. But I mean, we got to a point, and I said we were blessed to get to a point very quickly where we had to make a decision where, okay, we're doing this for fun. We had to kind of pick a path in terms of, are we going to just keep plugging away as we are? Are we just going to fold it up and walk away? Or are we going to swing for the fences and just keep after it? And that's obviously the route we're choosing to take. So I guess we made it in that sense. We made the decision to invest ourselves in this and see where it goes, and we'll see everybody at the tracks.
Yeah,
keep watching, keep listening.
We made it in terms of our own mind. And we didn't think that we would last. I mean, we didn't think anybody would listen, honestly. Like, the fact that people listen today is shocking to us.
Honestly, I feel the same way.
It's like, what? And you celebrate the small victories, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's it. And at the end of the day, who cares if people are tuning in droves? We're not going and expecting 10,000 subscribers, and we're not expecting that we're going to have thousands of likes and thousands of shares, but you just get a couple of great people involved and great people on the show, great people that we're not in competition. We're not trying to be the only ones out here. That's the wrong attitude. And I think there's been an attitude like that where you don't want more people to be doing things. Things were great the way that they used to be. Well, times change, right? And
absolutely, we got to
not everybody can do and reach the same audience, because some people will not have a voice that people like or have an attitude that people like. And the more options you have, actually, the better things will be. At the end of the day, if people decide they don't want to listen to us and they'd rather listen to another racing podcast, that's at least somebody else that's still paying attention.
Yep.
Right. That's still involved. If they don't have the options there, then there's nobody to blame but yourself. Right.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, we give 10, 15 options of podcasts or content that people can watch. That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Where we were a couple years ago.
Yeah. And that's, I full disclosure, like not too long ago, I would like those haters that would like send you like some shitty little comment or whatever, and it would make me want to say something back, but it just,
you did a couple of times,
and that's it. I did like sometimes, like,
hey,
but that's part of this podcast journey, is helping us, or is helping me grow as a person too, where it's like politics being a podcaster in a way, is that like, you're not going to make everybody happy, just like a person running for prime minister, president, premier, whatever.
Mayor.
Yeah, it just it doesn't do you any good focusing on those little negative things. I've learned that now. Like, I don't choose to look at that kind of stuff, but like, I mean, by and large, the support that we get is so positive and so good that it makes those little oddball comments that come in maybe now and then nothing. Like, you don't even give them a second look, because at the end of the day, we can't lose sight of having fun, and that's it keeps coming back to that. And as long as this thing keeps paying us in that respect, I mean, where it's something that we look forward to doing every week, then that's payment in itself.
And I think before, I know that it's very important to us that we stay humble.
Yep.
Because we could go about this and be like, True North Racing, oh, that's below us, we could do that,
dude. Right? I feel that about myself.
Right.
I was like, True North Racing.
See, but like you could have that attitude where these guys are taking my audience, or these guys are doing this. We've never had that opinion. I think we're really excited to see you out here and having, and we've always taken that approach and said, we're not out to be enemies. This is a shared space. And if people don't like that, I'm sure there's people within the podcast landscape and in the racing community that don't want to allow people in. And I can understand that. I totally can. There are people that have been snarky about certain things because they can't get their own way, or they're used to things being one way and they don't like the way that you do things. But we're not going to approach things that way. We're wanting to grow. We've brought some new people into the podcast to do guest spots. There's amazing people that are coming in and coming up. Liv Whistle, somebody that we had on the podcast, she's gonna be somebody in the racing community. We've got our new guest co-host Brent Autry. He's another up and comer, and that's what you want, right? But also I think before we end the podcast, we want to say a thank you to those who did it before us. Kendra
Absolutely.
Adams deserves a ton of credit for doing what she has done. She did multiple podcasts. She did some with Todd as well, and Short Track Canada. Can Race is probably the biggest
Bryce
name that doesn't get enough frigging credit, because he's the reason that I wanted to cover the Pinty series, was because of Bryce, Steven, and Caitlin. Alex Gallagher as well was a part of that podcast. The four of them, they were the only guys covering the Pinty series. And I was bummed that they weren't going to continue, but all of them did that, and it launched each one of them into...
Yeah, it launched their professional careers.
It launched all of them.
Yeah.
Bryce working with TSN, doing the statistics, doing writing. Caitlin working at NASCAR. Steven obviously was already a journalist, but doing all his amazing photography at the racetrack. Alex has worked for 2 different racing series. You know, and that's what we're hoping for other people that come along. Like I said, we live, like if you can just help a little bit. We're not going into this as a career. Let's be honest. We're past that period of our lives where we're going to be like, oh, I'm just going to switch and change everything that I'm doing with my life so I can chase this dream. We're not saying that our dreams are over or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, you got to be realistic, right? And I mean, whether I'm working,
never say never on your dreams.
Very true, very true.
Right?
And
I feel that.
Yeah. I mean, we you know, whether I'm working at Bay and King in the Scotia Tower or Graydon's working on the roads in Bracebridge and Muskoka, we come from 2 different areas, 2 different methods, and 2 different ways of working. But if we can come together and help somebody else move up, whether it's a racer, whether it's somebody within the podcast scene, that's what we want. We want to see True North Canadian racing live. We want to see the True North podcast be bigger and better. We want Wide World of Motorsports to be bigger and better because it strengthens everybody.
I feel there's a group of us that are really good.
Yeah, I think we all have that same idea. If you're going to go out there and say, I only want the audience, I don't care what these guys do, these guys are ruining, these guys suck. We've seen that with racetracks.
Yep.
That doesn't work. It destroys things. The more you fraction, it destroys things. The more that we work together, I mean, without you, Jomo, we wouldn't have SNS drivers. It was your concept. You came up with that. And when we're saying it, and pardon, if you have to bleep it, because I said it on our podcast, and you know what's coming, I'm pretty sure. It was fucking genius when you did it. Because you know what happens? And I know I'm ranting on your show.
That's fine.
But
that's why you're here.
You know what
I already said 3 hours and we're at 3:17 on this. So I mean,
well, we're going to be wrapping up soon because some of us have to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. But
I'm in that boat.
Yeah, see, exactly. But John, the reality is, without that idea, without taking that on, we're not expecting money from drivers.
Yeah.
They spend enough as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Your idea is what others are doing wrong. They're charging people for promotion. In this day and age, I
feel like he doesn't look at my website.
Well, I look at your website a lot.
You haven't gone to the promotion section then.
Maybe not yet, but driver pages.
Because I do charge a fee to help promote them.
But are you charging? It's premiums we're talking. And that's typically with marketing packages. You're asking a pretty penny. Somebody who's in a bone stock cannot do that.
Oh, no.
Right? And that's the problem, is that and then we've talked about this countless times if you don't have a marketing person, and a lot of racers don't, you have no idea what you're supposed to do. That's honestly the reality.
And that's what we've been able to help deal with. Like, we had signed on two new drivers this year. We have Cole Ecker, who's driving the 08 car in the mini stock division, And we also got Mike Thompson in the 16 car. Mike
Great
even
looking
told
car
me,
too.
oh yeah,
Great looking car.
he came to me and told me, hey, how do I get involved with Joe Media and Promotions? What do you guys offer? And I showed him everything. I ran him through what we do, what we can help with, how we can help better his return on investment for his sponsors. Because not you said it yourself. You look at the website, which have you seen it since Friday?
No.
Oh, go check out our we've started updating driver schedules. So
Nice.
right now I have it on there. So for Brandon Feeney, I gotta get your schedule out, man. You gotta send me. I don't know if it's out there or not yet. I gotta get yours uploaded.
It's on the website. We have to look at each individual night at this point in time to figure out what nights I'm racing.
I'll have to go take a look.
Plus, I'm still trying to get a few rides that you and Cam know about. That I'm trying to get a few rental rides this year to play with other series and stuff like that.
And
nice.
The best part about it is the fact that we got their schedules out, but we're also willing to put out where they're going. So Mike Thompson is going to Motorama. He will be in the Flamborough booth. So guess what? On his schedule, I put down event number 1. He will be there from March 10th to March 12th at Motorama.
Excellent.
So that way, people who go to the site go to his section. Guess what? I'm going to be starting doing write-ups here soon. Guess where they're going? They're going straight onto their pages. I want to get on there, how they got involved in racing, what their plans are for 2023, because that's the valuable information people need to see. I know you guys said it. You guys aren't on TikTok. I've been living off of TikTok lately, trying to create videos because, again, that's additional promotion. Because if I'm putting out videos with their sponsors, their logos, it is a return on investment because I'm averaging about 500 to 600 views a video, if not more sometimes. If I find I don't know how or why, but whenever Feeney's involved in a video, they do really well.
Yeah,
but that is the best part, though, is that we're seeing is that yes, you say I know it sucks that I charge a fee, but it's helping these guys get a return on investment for their sponsors to promote them, so that way. They essentially yes, I understand. They're paying me to help promote them. Right. And that I feel is creating like a marketing agency. Yeah. Like how those NASCAR guys, they have a social media guy. Now I'm not going to sit here and create about 20 to 25 different emails and stuff like that to create different profiles and stuff. But
you say that, but you are. What people don't understand. I'm going to need to hire
more people.
Well, here's the thing: is you offer packages for smaller people.
Yep.
And you offer packages for bigger people. So like you can choose how much you have.
And I'm also willing to work.
Yeah.
And I'm also willing to work in customized packages.
Yeah. So like, there's certain people that would have bone stock. They're not going to pick your top level package that you have for like your APC guys. But like, well, they can, but like,
yeah, they could.
Those APC guys, an APC car costs X amount of dollars to run. You need to have so much money coming in, so much ROI going out to prove. Where a bone stock guy, I can run a bone stock if it's a good year and $1,000.
Yeah.
Like once you have the car, you can run on tires and stuff like that. So.
And I that's why it's always a lot of fun, right? And you guys, I love it. Like I said, I love what you guys do because, and by the way, you need to reserve a minimum of 2 stickers for me.
Yeah.
I need to get them on my car so I can have my Joe Media one, and then I got my Stickers N Scuffs right above it.
And
you need 3 stickers, John.
Yeah.
Which one else do I need to add? Are you going to tell me about your Yes. Also,
toolbox?
I'm saying 2. One will be for my toolbox.
Yeah, toolbox, car, and then you need one somewhere in this room that you're in right now.
This is my kids' room, so I mean,
what? Your kids don't listen to the show?
No, they're at their mom's
Logged
right now.
off. We're done.
You have a North Wilkesboro sticker. I think you can have a Stickers N Scuffs sticker.
That's not a sticker. That's a sign.
All right, so he needs 2 stickers and a sign.
maybe up on the wall here. Maybe I can get a. Maybe we need to talk about getting a repealable sticker. So that way we can pull it off of stuff, because I don't know if my future in-laws would like me to have that on their wall here. It is behind the door, so I mean,
I feel like it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, you beat me to it.
But like I say, guys, it has absolutely been a pleasure. We all have early mornings. I still got work to do on this tonight to get it ready for Tuesday, because sometimes, but this has been such a great conversation. First of all, I've loved you guys since I've heard about Stickers and Scuffs. I've seen your guys' progression. I've been I'm sitting over here. So maybe I don't share everything, but I'm also over here going like, yes, they're, like when I heard Mario and Jerry was coming, I was like, yes, they're going big. I love hearing that stuff. I love seeing some of the guys you get on. And I've even told Cam this, that I'm jealous of a lot of the guys you guys get to talk to, because I want to work my way up. And I feel like, the best way to start is starting with our grassroots guys, because some of who you never know. You never know. I'm going to just throw out a name here. Kyle Steckley. We don't know where he's going to end up.
Yep.
Oh,
but guess what? If he ends up running some Xfinity stuff down the States, or even a truck or whatever, guess what? I can sit there and say, I have an interview with 16-year-old Kyle Steckley.
Yeah.
Like, that is the coolest part about what we get to do, in my opinion. We can sit there. You guys have talked to the Stacys, right? Dexter is running Daytona. You guys can sit there and say, hey, we have this. Right? To me, it's just crazy.
Well, man, it's been fun, and
absolutely, we got to do it again.
Yeah,
maybe we'll start earlier in the day next time.
Yeah, there's never
that's a good idea.
There's never a shortage of stuff to talk about.
And let's not schedule it on Super Bowl Sunday.
But if we schedule on Super Bowl Sunday, we'll be free anyway, because we're not watching football. We can start.
I'll watch football. I will watch football. I will watch 2 football games a year, and that is Ohio State, Michigan, and the Super Bowl.
You didn't watch the Super Bowl today. I can prove it.
No, I know we didn't watch the Super Bowl. I didn't get a chance to watch the Super Bowl. I didn't even get to see the highlight. But guys, it has been an absolute pleasure for you guys to hang out on the True North Racing Podcast this week. Quickly plug in where they can find you on social media, where they can find your podcast, and yeah.
You can find us pretty much anywhere. We're on all audio platforms for podcasting, Google, Amazon, Spotify, pretty much everything on there. And then we release on YouTube as well. And then we have a pretty active Facebook group, and then we're on Instagram. Twitter, we've kind of backed away from. It's not what it was, and not really. It's funny because we were both that's how we met, but it's really not it's not been the place for Canadian racing. I don't feel like it's a strong as strong.
It doesn't deliver the results as well as other forums do.
Facebook seems to be the best right now, and Instagram. So but we're on there. We have a website, Stickers and Scuffs at weebly.com, and definitely check us out. We've got decals, we've got hats, and we're gonna be at the racetracks quite a bit this year. We're hoping to be at a good chunk of races, and we'll myself and Brent will be at Motorama this year as well. So we'll definitely be around. So get ready to get sick of us.
Well, Cam, I'll definitely be seeing you at Motorama. Graydon, next time you hit up Oswego or something, a racetrack close by, get a hold of me and I'll come out with you.
Yeah, man.
Well, I can just imagine the crap we can get into up in the grandstands.
Yeah. We got a whole summer of shenanigans.
Either that, or we got to go pit side and just go mess with some of the guys.
Yeah.
If you guys are messing with people, I'm on my way.
Yeah. All of the above sounds good, man.
All right,
Thanks
guys, it's
again
been
for
fun
having
hanging out
us.
with you. Thank you, guys. That has been K and Graydon Bunn of the Stickers and Scuffs Podcast. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Well, that was the boys from the Stickers and Scuffs Podcast. You want to thank them for joining us this week. I hope you guys, I may have to split this into 2 episodes, but at the same time, I kind of want to just release it as one.
I think it's best to release it as one because otherwise things might get it out of context.
Yeah.
Because like we pull in from different parts of the episode, right?
But if I cut it off where we go into the checkers or wreckers, and then that starts the new episode, and release them like just hours apart, or I may just release this as one because it was a lot of fun.
Just release it all as one, and then we'll just take some short TikTok clips that they'll never see anyway. This is motivation for them to get TikTok now because they have to.
And
watch
then we
the
got to
clips
share it to them. We got to share it to them so they can get on TikTok as well. That was definitely a lot of fun. You know, Brandon and myself, we've been on here for 3 hours and 47 minutes at this point. Now the audio is not 3 hours and 47 minutes, but it was an absolute blast talking to the guys from the Stickers and Scuffs Podcast. They do some really great stuff over there.
They do a lot of good work, and they said in the podcast that they don't do God's work, but like for guys like me who's short track racing, they've brought spotlight to me that's never been in existence before. Like same as you do too, but it's like it's one of those things that like if they weren't doing this, some short track drivers that they're speaking to, even though they're successful, they wouldn't be heard. So like all of a sudden we have more and more podcasters like Stickers and Scuff and this podcast and the other ones I mentioned that it's giving us a chance to try to grow Canadian racing, right? So
absolutely. And that's what we need though. We need to grow the sport. Like I want to get guys not just from Ontario. I want to start getting guys from BC and Alberta, and you know, I had a very short stint with Inside Track doing sales, as you know, Brandon.
Yeah.
But the people I got to talk to within that short stint have been amazing. Like I have been, you know, I want to get them on. Like there's a track champion out east I want to get on here and talk to. They're a 2-time track champion this year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, holy crap.
It's even like, as you know, I'm with Inside Track as well.
Yep.
There's people that win championships. They're featured in the magazine that you sit there and you hook them up so that they can buy magazines for sponsors and stuff like that to show like, hey, look what we've done. But like they're drag racers and stuff up here in Canada and stuff like that. So like
absolutely.
We have oval track, we have dirt track, we have road course, we have drag racing, we have ice racing up here, which I dare you to find that in Florida.
What are you talking about? Just go to the Florida Panthers arena. I'm sure you can create something there with some go-karts. I
was at a hockey game, so I'm big Oshawa Generals. Always. I'm a big Oshawa Generals fan. I go to most of the games, and I was sitting there one day and I brought up Zambonis with Nos. And like I snapped that to you. How fun would that be to have Zamboni races?
That would be so much fun. But to be fair, oh crap. Well, there was a not NASCAR because it was an NHL game. And I think it was on the Wii. Man,
I know what you're talking about where you gotta like drive the Zamboni at.
Yes.
Like, Zamboni mode.
But if you were playing against your sibling or your friend or whatever, you would end up getting to play against essentially race against that person, and you guys had the same sheet of ice, and you guys had to who could Zamboni the most.
Yeah.
Before it got 100% clean.
Was that like NHL like 90s?
No,
or 90s?
No. This was Wii. This was like
no, but I think they had Zamboni mode on before that, and like it was a re-release again.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I don't remember that one.
We'll get comments down the podcast that will tell us exactly when it is.
If anyone knows, if anyone's stuck around this long.
Oh, they're definitely still here.
But you're right. We're gonna have to clip this part and put it out on TikTok and social media, and see if people can help us refresh our minds of when they saw it and what game it came out in about 2007 to 2010.
And like maybe stitch in like a clip of it being there, like if you have the game video.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because, dude, that is so much fun. Like, I miss that. Like, I have NHL 20 and I play it quite often. And it's like, man, I just want to sit here and just drive the Zamboni.
So, fun story, Oshawa Generals Arena, they have a Drive a Zamboni experience.
Do they really?
Yes. I can hook you up with the people. My friend Melissa, who does like the sweets and stuff, they have a program there, and I can hook you up. It's like a whole thing. You get to have dinner, then drive the Zamboni and everything. Like,
Would anyone be interested in seeing me drive a Zamboni? Besides Brandon?
oh,
Because I think that would be a lot of fun. Maybe that's something we can get Cam K on.
He didn't say no to driving a Zamboni. He said a car. That is a gray area. And racing is all about gray
we're
areas.
exploiting it right now. But
and there'd be food involved because there's the dinner thing. So
exactly.
Like I feel like we work in the charity angle. He gets dinner, and then we just tell him, "Hey, oh, by the way, you're driving that."
that would be a lot of fun, and I think we need to look into that because I think that'd be cool. You're right. That'd be a cool experience. I've said it. I just said it a couple minutes ago. Obviously, we have been on here for almost 4 hours recording. Brandon, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you in here to just substitute for Megan this week. We definitely have to bring you on more times because I know Megan and myself, we absolutely love you. You're a great dude. I have been a big fan. I'm going to be honest. I have been a big fan of yours since last year. And, we haven't talked. I haven't been able to talk about it on here with you since. But when you sent me a picture of you winning last year in September, my heart couldn't be happier.
Oh,
because you won.
I was definitely in party mode when that happened.
Oh, I bet bet you were, because that was the coolest night I think I've ever got to witness. I got to witness Caitlin Wallace winning her first race. I'm all excited. Then all of a sudden I get a Snapchat from you saying I won my feature, and I'm like, yes, like let's go. Man, I was like driving home. I was happier than than a bug on a windshield.
Well, and before I won the feature, so Caitlin won, I think, the first feature of the night.
Second.
Or was it the second?
It was the
so
second.
I won my heat. So you're like, all right, you got another heat. So I had 5 heat wins in the year, which I didn't have 5 heat wins in my entire career, if you want to call it that. So like to have 5 in 1 year, it's like, that's been a good year. Like I'm happy with the results.
Dude, I was proud of you all year.
And then all of a sudden, like I got started in the pole of the feature. I got to take off. And like the worst thing was, I'm like, I got to pass tech. I got to pass tech. I got to pass tech. Because like I didn't build the car 100%. I did buy this one. And it's like, I don't know every nook and cranny of this car. I don't know what's legal, what's not. I'm like, and it passed and we're good. But it's like, I was sweating bullets until like that trophy was sitting as far right in the car as it could be to not put any more left side weight in there. So like it's one of those things that like you got to think about those things.
Absolutely. But like I said, we need to get you on here more because you are an absolute riot. You're very involved in a lot of our social media stuff. You're commenting, you're sharing, you're doing whatever you can to help us out, and we're appreciative of that. And we're thankful for you to be a Joe Media driver again here in 2022 or 2023 now, sorry. And to think it all started because you thought I was Johnny Morrison.
Yeah, it's the weird way and that we met, and we've hung out basically almost all race season. We were just hanging out, even though every time I came to Flamborough, you weren't there. Including when I got third at Flamborough with a destroyed race car. Think of the video that would have made.
The CVMs weren't there. I was probably doing something else.
I will be coming to Flamborough more this season, depending on the Peterborough schedule. I don't know which car I'm bringing yet.
Yep.
The plan is to focus the super stock for Peterborough only, and then the mini stock or possibly the bone stock if I actually build it, not sell it, to tour with it to help support other tracks and stuff like that too, because we need to, as Canadian racing as a whole, as we've been talking about all episode, come together, and we can't just be like, I'm only driving at Peterborough, because you have to support all these other tracks, because it's good for competition, for like other tracks to compete a little bit against each other, because it's going to keep the drivers able to drive there, and then you're not just going to be like, all right, you just won the late model race, you get $15. Like, road course racing is, you have to pay to play.
Yep.
And that's because there's not a lot of road course racing. They can do whatever the hell they want, pretty much. Like, you want to race? Here's how much it's going to cost you. There's no payouts.
Yep.
Ovals, guess what? If this guy here, if Peterborough, let's say, is you don't like the payout, you can go to Sunset or Flamborough, wherever you want. You can go dirt track racing if you want to change it up. So we have variety, and it's a nice spice of life to get to try out, and hopefully I get to try out dirt soon. I am very anxious to get in a dirt street stock or something like that, but
we need to find you a deal to get that done. Like,
me and another Jomo Media driver have talked about doing a seat swap, but we haven't finalized it yet, and it's also at the same time, I think we're very nervous of damaging the other person's car.
That's understandable though. But I think we're not gonna break any news here on the show about that. Maybe we'll have to get you and that other driver on, but you're gonna have to tell me who it is after we get off of this.
You probably already have a good idea who it is.
I have a very good idea of who it is, but I'm not gonna say names until afterwards. But like I said, man, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on. Got to get you on here more. Got to talk more Canadian racing. We got it. I feel like we got to do another show with Tailored to You. Got to figure out.
So you kind of got me hooked up with Taylor with the Jomo Media, and now I'm bringing more drivers to her. So now she's really good at helping small drivers such as me, or I've got Dan Price now getting some stuff done.
Awesome to hear, man.
Well, I'm kind of starting that because Dan lent me his shop to hang the body of my race car. Didn't charge me anything. I used all his tools, how many supplies he let me use, stuff he made for my car, and Dan's a very nice guy as long as you don't abuse the niceness. Which I feel like Dan is one of those people that is like us. He tries to go racing any way he can. So when he won't really take any money, like, we literally traded, I think a few years ago, the same $50 bill back and forth like 7 times. Like, I'd leave it on his windshield wiper, then he'd leave it on mine because he drove by. So I'm like, well, you know what? If I get him started with some merch, maybe he can, he'll have it for himself. Maybe sell some stuff, then that'll be good for him. And
yeah, you're absolutely right. But I do think we need to get to do another show like that again, because that was a lot of fun last year, getting to meet everyone and kind of do our own thing. We're gonna have to talk because I want to get your input and I want you to be on. I'm gonna start like a little committee with a couple other people, to help get this stuff sorted out. So that way we can all, because I as much as I always say, like, this is my stuff. This is yes, I do a lot of this stuff, but it's also the people like yourself, Cam Thompson, Chris Lawrence, Morgan Robson Jr. We got all these guys. I'm just one man trying to help everyone else with some social media posts. I want them to have their input as well, because they're the guys who are helping with all this. They're the reason why I get to do what I do each week by doing this show. They're the guys you guys are all the people I have to thank personally. There's a reason why I was able to go out and get some better lighting. There's a reason why I was able to get a better mic. There's a reason why I have a really good headphones so I can hear everything. You guys, I have to thank for that, because you guys are the ones who are making this happen. Without you guys, I'd just probably be a poor man with a single mic, just, seeing what happens.
You'd be talking into the headphone mic like this and trying to do like the wavy voices like you see on TikTok. And
dude, I can pull off those voices sometimes. So, I mean, shoot, don't even get me started.
I can only pull off voices if I'm not trying to do voices. Like if I go to the Tim Hortons drive-through speaker, oh, it's on.
Yeah. I know. Next time I'm going to Starbucks, for Jacqueline, I got to. She said I'm allowed to do my one of my voices.
Is it a hot girl voice?
Kind of. I'll have to show it to you. I'm still not feeling 100%. So once I get 100%, I'll have to show you what that voice is like, because it's scary. I made a guy at a Harvey's cry once.
I cleared out a Burger King once.
Well, why'd you fart?
It wasn't actually. I probably could have cleared out 2 Burger Kings if I farted, but it was just. I think it was like after Michael Jackson passed away.
Yeah.
I did a really, really loud like ee, which I can't do, and it freaked everybody out in the whole thing, and everybody just laughed because like it was just I did it like walking in, and nobody seen me do it, so like everyone's like freaked out and like just like it was like recent news, like everyone's like, what the hell? I'm like, okay, that one's new, but yeah, once in a while I can pull some good voices off. Most of the time it's in the car.
Yeah.
Like you have so much footage of me like yelling at myself, and there's some of it you can release, there's some of it you can't.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we'll put this out on TikTok, and maybe we'll see if I can find it again. I gotta see if I can find all that footage. I may have accidentally deleted a lot of it.
You sent a lot of it to me. It's in the Facebook chat or text message chat.
Perfect. Maybe we'll have to cut it and splice it and put it out there to see. But like I said, man, we should really get going. We both have early mornings. Brandon, it's been fun hanging out with you tonight on the True North Racing Podcast. Before we get going, let everyone know where they can find you on social media.
So I'm Beefy Motorsports pretty much everywhere on social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, I think I have nowadays. I actually don't have Twitter, so I've never been into Twitter, which is funny because you guys all got started on it, and I'm like, I was getting ready to ask Graydon if he had a MySpace. But yeah, if you want to find me at Beefy Motorsports, I just picked up some more tumblers off Taylor, so I got those for sale again. I've got some keychains, and if you want to help support my racing, I don't take donations from friends, but I will sell you merchandise.
That's probably the best way to put it. We want to thank everyone for listening to the True North Racing Podcast this week. That is episode 85. Like I said, we're now 14 episodes out from 100. But you guys can catch Joe Media on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, share to Joe Media on YouTube. Make sure you guys follow us on TikTok. Yeah, stay up to date. Go to joemedia.ca. We are dropping schedules, like I announced earlier, to KMK and Graydon Bunn there, that we are dropping schedules. So if you're looking for some promotion, hit us up. We'll help your race season. We'll help you. Go check out our pages and go our driver section and see what we're doing for drivers nowadays. Brandon, are you happy with what we've been doing so far?
I'm clearly happy with what you're doing because I messaged you I think 3 days after race season's over, like, are we doing this again next year? Or like, and I think if I do like the whole link the video here, like you did my in-car video and stuff like that, it's it's the small things that help out guys like me, right? So it's
and we're doing shop tours, and I got to get out and either we got to do a shop tour or a sponsor video spotlight.
Yeah, I was gonna say a shop tour might be hard because for
open
people,
up the garage door and
what garage door?
The trailer door, I meant.
Yeah, here it is. All the tires, all the cars. Close the thing. Freaking all right, we're done. But
like I said, we'll have to figure something out. Like I said, either a car tour or we'll figure maybe do something in Motorama, and that'll be part of the deal. We'll figure it out. We talk almost every day, so I mean we'll figure it out. But anyways, guys, that's episode 85 of the True North Racing Podcast. Next week up is Kevin Small of Flamborough Speedway.
I can use this for the guessing game freaking next week. I'll forget anyway.
I gotta double check with him and make sure he's still good for next week. But anyways, guys, that has been the True North Racing Podcast. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. For Brandon Feeney, I'm Jon Morrison. We'll see you guys next time. See you guys.
Engine rooming by, smell the gas and feel the vibe, going into overdrive. Drop the flag, then the car zooming by. Hey, True North Racing, let's go.